Welcome back to episode 248 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Baba Louie. I'm here with Phil.
It's your friendly neighborhood hockey-loving goofballs. Welcome to the Gong Show.
What up, boys?
What up?
Phil, how we doing?
Going great. How you boys doing?
I feel like sleepy hour here on the show. You just got up from a nap. Louie has been plowing the roads, keeping the Minnesota roads safe all night, and he's really tired. So, geez, you guys.
You got to carry it, John.
Energy here. I know.
Bring the energy.
I'm going to do it. Louis is super tired, Phil. So I think the name of the game for us today is how many times can we put him on the spot and make his brain seize up?
That's challenge accepted.
You gonna make it, Louis?
I'm gonna make it.
Okay. Well, as far as I guess stuff to kick off the show, banter, some people might like to call it, we got a lot of reaction to our conversation on last show with Brad from PSA, where we surprised Phil, his Festivus present to air grievances. You got a lot of messages too, huh, Phil?
Tons. It was flattering and terrifying all at the same time. I'm still waiting for feats of strength. I feel like I would excel in that Festivus activity, but no offers yet. But back to the Brad interview, it was awesome. I got a 9 out of 10 comments were great. I'd say 1 out of 10 thought we went really easy on him. I don't know how that we want to maintain a friendship with Brad and PSA. I don't think going horns first is the best approach. And I feel like I kind of did go horns first a little bit, and Brad handled it so professionally and like a champ. And we had a great conversation. So I hope we can do that again. And Brad demystified a lot of things from PSA. And I was also not satisfied with all the answers. And that's fine. We agreed to disagree and we moved on and we kept friends. And I hope we're better friends. And I think Brad's going to be a great friend of the show moving forward. So full success all the way around for me.
Yeah, it was good.
I agree with you. One approach would have been to go scorched earth on the bit and ruin a relationship. And we could have done, anybody can do that, right? That's kind of easy. But we're long-term thinkers here. And just like you, I really want to have a relationship so that we can have Brad on many times and start to have a conversation and clarify maybe some issues, maybe ask some of these questions again and see if we can get better answer or more satisfying answer, however you want to look at it. And then also be a conduit for change, because whether anyone likes it or not, PSA by a million miles is the largest grading company, and that's not going to change. Right. So you could have the attitude of forget them, or in never see any changes happen. And I've told a couple of people this, I think, in our Discord, that to me, the most exciting part about our conversation with Brad was when he wrote down your suggestion about adding grader notes to different service levels. Right. And now, will that happen? Who knows? But the idea that, maybe if we have a relationship with Brad and other companies in the hobby, where we could be to some degree a voice of the collector or conduit for collectors, and actually help bring some positive changes to their business that helps them be more successful and helps collectors in the hobby get what they want, that'd be a really cool thing.
Well, you know what's something I want to point out is before I was on the Gong Show, when you guys got Billy Celio on as a regular friend of the show, that leveled you up as a show, right? You have an in at Upper Deck now. Now I know Billy's kind of like upper middle management. It's funnier if he's on the show. I know Billy is a project manager and he has a certain amount of duties at Upper Deck. He's not the be all and end all, but he's an in. Could you imagine if you went horns first with Billy on your first interview and he never came back? The hobby wouldn't have Billy Celio interviews, or with Grant from Upper Deck. I think those are very important. So now we have a Brad at PSA. We have a Billy at PSA. So I think nurturing this and massaging this relationship is great for the hobby. Yelling, screaming, hooting and hollering, I'm really good at that. And it's easy. That's lazy. Let's be smart. Let's play the long game here. And we have a connection now at PSA, a pretty darn big connection. So let's
Mhm.
nurture that appropriately, I think.
It should be said too, he's a fantastic person. Like, there's no
Guy's all
circumstance
right.
to the degree, whether how much I agree or disagree with PSA's business practices. Number one, Brad doesn't make those decisions, and number two, he's a nice guy, and that wouldn't ever come in the way there, I guess. Okay, we had Friday nights with Phil just a couple days ago. You had on. It was a great show. You did an awesome job.
Thank you.
Get better and better each week. You've done what, 3 of them now or 4? 3 or
That's
4? Yeah.
that's 3. Yeah, I feel a rhythm. I feel some type of loose framework coming together.
Mm,
It's a poop show every Friday. So my goal is just consistency, right? Every Friday. I was kind of hoping Christmas Eve was on a Friday this year because I would do that, or New Year's
mhm.
Eve. I would totally do that. I'm just at home, and I think it's going to be a smashing success. And yeah, it was lots of fun. Great guests, Anthony. Big shout out to there. Big shout out to Perch, Andrew at Doghouse. That was, yeah, all 3 guests were,
Mhm.
were top notch, and I hope the audience liked it. I value constructive criticism very well, so please, feedback is great. Whatever the show needs to be from the people by the people. So any suggestions you folks have would be great. I'd really like to get some type of rummage sale going on, right? Get like 8
Mm,
people calling in trying to trade. I'll facilitate that, man. No
yeah.
finder's fee. No finder's fee needed. I'm good.
Anthony, or Felix Potvin Collector, showed off his Potvin collection. Holy moly, that guy has nice cards.
Yeah, I know. And he's so humble. He just keeps going because I said you can only show 10 cards. He goes, I physically do not know how to do that. I'm like, oh, you'll figure it out.
What did he say? Like 70 101s or something like that?
I believe north of 70, yeah, which
Oh,
is wild. He has, you know what the craziest card? He has that 2014, 2015 World Junior autograph buyback from the Expo. That is
mhm.
one of the hard, as a guy who tries to find those cards always. I think he has like what, 3 of them? I've never even seen one for sale. I don't even know how he found them. What a
Wow.
hunter. Yeah, what a hunter.
Louis was sleeping because he was doing midnight road plowing at the time. But you did catch a couple minutes, right, Louis?
Yep, I got in for a little bit. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
awesome to watch.
All right. One quick thing before we get started. Just a reminder that our show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. That means we rely on the support of listeners like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, produce more and what we hope to be better hockey card content, and then fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. You can support us for as little as $5 US a month by joining our Patreon and our out of $2.99 support level tier. Very easy to do. Go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or just go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the show description to both the on YouTube and for the good listener on the podcast apps, and then our Instagram and TikTok profile as well. Since the last show, we do have one new member out of our 299 old school cards. Love that name. So
Oh,
welcome. Thank you for your support. He's already in Discord, already chatting away. So that's what I love when people get in there and start contributing. That's awesome to see. And then, of course, Phil is still supporting the show.
It's not even a bit. I literally just forget every time. It's not even. I'm still paying for Rogers internet from 2 months ago,
Oh,
and I'm
Phil.
with a different company now. It's out of control.
Oh my gosh.
I need help. I need a
oh,
handler.
Phil.
I need a handler.
Okay, Baba Louie, wake up. You're ready for the game plan. Let's go.
I'm up. It's
All
time
right.
to go with the game plan. So first off today, we're gonna get back into get to know your Hall of Famers. Then it's who's hot in the struggle bus. Then we're off to some hobby news. Then it's the hobby Mount Rushmore of the New Jersey Devils. We talked to Sylvain for Confessions of a Card Dealer, Chapter 8. We think it's Chapter 8.
We think.
Then, can't wait for this one, 23-24 Parkhurst Champions Review. Then it's off to the Gongshow Mailbag and personal pickups.
Okay. Let's get right into get to know your Hall of Famers. We're still working our way through the Hall of Fame class of 1947. It's where we take a look at the lifetimes and hobby market for each player inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame and state our case as to why you should care about him or her. The players we are profiling today, I think most will recognize as the namesake of one of the big NHL annual awards, and his name is Art Ross, a man with 2 first names, Phil, Art and Ross. Do you trust a man with 2 first names?
Yeah, I do. I'd have to get to know him first a little better.
Okay. All right. All right, let's start with our quick bio of Arthur Howie Ross, who lived from 1885 until 1964, a life that lasted 79 years. Phil, he was a Canadian born in Naughton, Ontario. Where's that?
Oh, I don't know where Naughton, Ontario is. It must be a teeny tiny one.
What kind of Canadian are you, Phil?
Not a good one. Not a good one.
Art Ross was a professional hockey player from 1905 until 1918, playing for such teams as the Montreal Wanderers, the Ottawa Hockey Club, Louis' seventh favorite team, the Haley Berry Comets, the Brandon Wheat City, and Kenora Thistles. You always got to throw in the Kenora Thistles, right? Ross was a left shot defenseman throughout his career. He won 2 Stanley Cups as a player in 1907 with the Kenora Thistles and in 1908 with the Montreal Wanderers. It's so weird when you see the old cup without having the big base, just the top cup part.
Yeah.
Kind of feels incomplete, doesn't it?
Yes.
The ultimate cereal bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
In 1911, he led one of the very first player-organized strikes over increased pay. I mean, geez, you thought maybe he'd finish his career at Canada Post, eh?
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Maybe he's related to Ted Lindsay?
Yeah, maybe. Ross would end up retiring as a player in 1918 when the Wanderers arena burned down. I guess he saw that as a sign. A lot of old arenas burned down. I've learned that that's one of the things I'm picking up on from looking at these very first Hall of Famers and hockey pioneers.
Didn't everything burn down back then?
Yeah. I suppose
it's not exactly like they had fire hazard certification thingies to do, right?
Just giant tinder boxes too.
Yeah, exactly.
Between 1918 and 1924, he served on as on-ice official. So that's what he did right after retiring. And then coached for 1 season with the Hamilton Tigers. But when the Boston Bruins formed in the 1924 season, they hired Art Ross as their first coach and general manager. When Ross got the job with the Bruins, he moved his family from Canada to Boston, eventually becoming a U.S. citizen in 1938. He won 3 Stanley Cups with the Bruins, 2 as a coach and 1 as a GM, and then until he retired from the team in 1954. Okay, why should you care about Art Ross? Ross was a skilled defenseman in the early 20th century, known for his robust play and puck-moving ability. Along with the Stanley Cup championships he won as a player, coach, and GM, he also, though, made significant contributions to the game. He's probably a little bit more known as a builder of the league than a player. Here's a couple things he did. He designed the puck, the modern puck that's used today. So with the beveled edges. So we can thank Art Ross for that. Owns the patent for it, I believe.
I thought you were going to say it was a square puck before, and Art Ross introduced the circular design.
No. The beveled edges, Phil. Beveled edges.
Got it. Beveled edges.
Beveled edges. He introduced improvements to goalie equipment, skate blades, stick designs, and other protective gear to make them lighter, more flexible, improve the protection that they offered players. He was also instrumental in proposing and championing rules adjustments to make the game more competitive, smoother, and entertaining, like the elimination of the rover position. So he was instrumental in that. Offsides, he introduced the red line, icing, and the penalty box.
Can we look at the picture for the good listener listening? There's a picture of Art Ross wearing dress pants, skates, and a hockey beautiful Bruin sweater, but he's standing like, you know that meme of that Indian man in the soccer match where he's mad at his team? Yeah, this is the Canadian version. I'm going to meme this up after the episode. Absolutely. Art Ross is not impressed with your decision.
Yeah. This is when he was coaching the Bruins, I believe.
Yeah, it's a great picture. I've never seen this.
And then finally, he's, of course, the namesake of the Art Ross Trophy, which is awarded annually to the NHL's top point scorer in the regular season, named in his honor, reflecting his enduring legacy to the game. Okay, let's look at his hobby market. The Art Ross rookie card is in the inaugural hockey set, the 1910 C56 set. But there's not just one Art Ross card, there's 2. Card number 8 has Ross in a Halle Berry sweater.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry sweater.
Swordfish. What a scene. Yeah.
My favorite faux pas ever on this show. He played for the Halle Berry. Halle Berry. Is that how you say
I want to play for
Halle
Berry. How do I try out for the team?
Isn't it Haley?
Whatever. Mrs. It's Mrs. Berry to us.
Barry.
Haley Burry.
This PSA 5, it's in the maroon Halle Berry sweater. The highest public sale to date, $10,500 US in December 2019. Then there's another number 12 where he's wearing another Halle Berry sweater, but this one's striped. Over the two rookies, I prefer this one.
Yeah.
It's more interesting to me. What about you guys? You like the maroon sweater or the striped one?
Can you go back to? I like the striped one. It looks more varsity-ish.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the striped one, which is card number 12, PSA 7 copy pictured, sold for as high as $13,756 in January of 2020. Now, in that inaugural set, Art Ross and Newsy Lalonde are the only two players that have two cards in the 37 total card set. There's also an Art Ross card in the 1911 C55 set. Here he's pictured with the Montreal Wanderers sweater. Looks a little more nerdy in this photo. High sales of PSA 7 copies sold for $6,300 US this past May. And then the last Plain Days Art Ross card is from the 1912 C57 set, where a PSA 6.5 pictured is a high selling copy, fetching $4,161 US in May of 2019. So there you go.
Jeremy owns all these cards we just talked about? Probably.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy, for letting us use your pictures.
So another guy who had a very significant impact on the game, of course, and one of the top 4 or 5 NHL awards. Where's the Art Ross rank in NHL awards? Not as good as a Hart.
I don't know. The Hart Trophy special. That one's. I don't know. They're all different and they're own very unique in their own way. That's a cop-out answer, but they're very respectful position trophies.
Agreed.
So if you had a favorite player like Shane Pinto, would you rather have him win the Art Ross or the Rocket Richard?
Oh, that's tough. I'd rather have him win the Art Ross because that means more from when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, Rocket Richard trophy was introduced later, right? So
yeah. Okay, we're time to move on. Week 10, I think. In all the weeks.
What episode is this? Is this episode 248?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought so. What are we doing? Anything special for 250?
I don't know. You want
I think we should.
Tarps off or what?
Sure. I'm fine with that. I finally got my stepmom.
Yeah, we'll figure it. We'll see.
I could show some skin here. Some ladies would be like, "Oh, he's nerdy," but I'll take him.
More than 1/3 through the 2024-25 season already. It's time for our weekly check-in to see which players are crushing it and which players stink as of late and got a ticket on the struggle bus. Let's put it succinct. We like to start on a positive note here. We're puppy dogs and ice cream, sunshine and rainbows. And I'll kick us off with my pick this week for who's hot. I went with my boy, my favorite crabby German, Leon Draisaitl. Over the past 2 weeks, as of yesterday, but I think now today, it's different. I did this last night. He was leading the NHL in scoring with 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points in 8 games played. I think over the past couple weeks now, Braden Point is, but not too bad, Leon. So that's still good. On the season, he has 22 goals, which is most in the NHL. 45 points in 30 games played, which is second in the NHL, 2 points behind Nathan McKinnon. Draisaitl's 82-game pace for 2024-25 is 60 goals and 123 points. Is that good, Phil?
It's okay. Keep going. I have some things to say after.
Ooh. Leon's had 3 straight 100-point seasons, and he scored more than 100 in 4 of his last 5 NHL seasons. The only season he did not get 100 points was the 56-game COVID bubble season or whatever, where he had just 84 points in 56 games. So that's still pretty good. I would think on a hobby's most disrespected list that, here's where I want your guys' input on this. I'd probably put Kucherov, McKinnon, and Draisaitl at the top of that list. So how would you guys rank those in order from 1 to 3? Best player.
1A, 1B, 1C.
You think they're a toss-up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think most people would say like Kucherov, Draisaitl, then McKinnon. No, McKinnon, Draisaitl, then Kucherov.
I think consensus would be exactly what you said. McKinnon, then Draisaitl, then Kucherov. Yeah.
What do you think, Babalu?
I have to agree with you on that. Just
Okay.
popularity contest too.
You know what's happened with McKinnon? Everyone's like, who never thinks about Nathan McKinnon? But now that's the thing. Now that's the popular.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever thinks of Nathan McKinnon. Well, everyone's thinking about Nathan McKinnon because he's that good. He's too big to rig. He's too big to rig.
Well, what's your comments on Draisaitl?
Well, I'm biased because he's grumpy and I don't like the way he plays against my Sens. So I wish him all the best. I'm a Connor guy. I'm not a Leon guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Draisaitl. When Josh Norris love tapped him on his hips and he dropped like a fish. And everyone wants to make fun of my German. What about that German?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, he doesn't have a cute nickname like Timmy Tantrums. Like, what? Draisaitl needs a
drippy Draisaitl. Yeah,
I mean, like, he's like got a lot of diamonds or something like that.
No, he's a drip. He's a drip human. Yeah.
Well, Leon Draisaitl is a 2014 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 1012, 57% germ rate less sold for $547 US on December 12th, up 14% in the past 2 weeks, up 5% in the past 3 months. Baba Louie, you have the next pick on who's hot.
I do. It is last week's Player of the Week, Nikita Kucherov. So picture, if you will, a knight of the frozen realm, his stick as his sword, his skates as his swift steed. From the first drop of the puck, Kucherov did seize upon the rhythm of the contest as the maestro commanding an orchestra of chaos. Twice, with precision and poise, he sent the vulcanized disc into the opponent's net, each goal an ode to the craft of his trade. Yet it was not his goals alone that bore testament to his genius, for in 10 instances did he bestow upon his comrades the gift of opportunity, orchestrating their triumphs as the ruler might bestow favor. Assists, they are called in the vernacular, though to call them mere aids would belittle the artistry in which Kucherov rendered them. They were tapestries woven of timing and vision, his passes like threads spun of gold upon the loom of the rink. In this span of 4 games, wherein most mortals might hope for a mere spark of brilliance, Kucherov burned as a beacon. 12 points did he tally, each a testament to his unerring instinct and unmatched skill. Opposing goaltenders, despite their valiant efforts, could scarce withstand the onslaught he wrought, and defenders seemed as hapless as reeds before the might of a tempest. How was that?
That was awesome, Louis. Good job. Big clap. That was good, buddy. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. I'm here with Louis, Phil, and Chat GPT.
Hey, it
That's
was
pretty
good
awesome.
help. So,
Yeah.
anywho, over 26 games, Kucherov tallied 14 goals, 32 assists, and amassing a total of 46 points on the season. He is a 2013 Young Guns, and his PSA 10 has a pop of, I was kind of surprised, only 522, with a 56% gem rate, and last sold for $775 on December 14th. Card is up 59% in the past 2 weeks.
Jeez.
And then up 32% in the last 3 months.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, climbing.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit
All
of a
right, Phil,
juggernaut
what
in points there. Hey, the big boy Kucherov.
Cooch. What theme are you going to do your Who's Hot pick in, Phil?
Normal Phil version. Yeah.
I was inspired by your
I love
Kachuk
it.
the other day. So
Yeah, it was great,
going a
Louis.
little
It's good.
bit.
We should keep it going.
Aw,
My pick
so
for this
cute.
week for Who's Hot this week is Big Bad Braden Point. He's an extremely underrated player, I feel, and I'm going to bring it up. So over the past 2 weeks, Braden Point has surpassed Josh's pick, Leon Draisaitl, and leads a true leader of the NHL in scoring after last night's game. Sorry, low-hanging fruit. He has 15 points in 5 games, which makes him the top point getter in the last 2 weeks, beating Leon Draisaitl. That's 1 game less actually on top of Mr. Delightful Draisaitl as well. So he's been playing really, really good on the season. On the season, he has a second place tie with 20 goals. I apologize. Out of the whole season, he's tied with 20 goals with Kaprizov, your boy. So that's not bad. Leon is number one. Leon Draisaitl is number one. No, there. So 1A Leon, and then 1B, 1B would be Kaprizov and Braden Point. Braden Point has been on my radar since my son has pointed him out a couple years ago. He's Hasselhoff's one of his favorite players, and he always says he doesn't understand why people don't pay more attention to him. And I'm starting to understand why. This boy deserves a lot more respect. Hasselhoff has very high standards for his athletes of choosing, and Braden Point is on the top of his list. So check this out. On December 5th, Tampa Bay pumped San Jose 8-1, 8 biscuits to 1. And Braden had 4 assists, but that's not the cool part. It contributed to 7 different players getting points. That's how you win a Stanley Cup. You spread out the awesome. So Tampa's always a little bit scary and in the mix. Point here isn't helping my division rivals because he's definitely my hot pick of the week. He's just been on fire, 15 points in 5 games. How do you beat that? Braden Point is a 2016 Young Guns with a PSA 10 pop count of 1,169. So there's a few out there. Pretty good gem rate at 61%. And it's actually down 10% in the past 2 weeks and down 13% over the past 3 months. And those numbers mean to me it's staying about the same. So under $100, good price, American. And he's the stud. He's my stud for this week.
If Kucherov doesn't get any hobby love, it's going to be hard to imagine Braden Point getting it down there in the Bermuda Triangle that is the Florida hobby market. Well, there it is, Louis. And if you're watching on YouTube, the brand new Struggle Bus debuts today. That's pretty awesome. Well, I got the first pick again, and I had to pick another 20. I picked a 2023-24 rookie, and it's not Bedsy. And he's been getting a lot of the hobby class Struggle Bus headlines, but I had to go with Adam Fantilli.
Ooh.
Over the past 2 weeks, he's got 1 lone point, an assist in 8 games played. Yikes. That's not great. In 30 games played this season, he's got 5 goals and 13 points. Now, one thing about Fantilli, I wouldn't say he's been in a stable environment in Columbus since being drafted, and maybe he's found it a little bit difficult adjusting to all the changes that have gone there. And he's got a new coach again in Dean Evison, so maybe there's something about his system that hasn't been lining up with Fantilli's game from that perspective. So check this out. This kid's played 79 games, and he's on his 3rd head coach.
Oof. It's got to be tough.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just a sophomore slump. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully he gets back on track ASAP. Why do you guys think all the rookies struggle so much players struggle so much in their second year?
I've always wondered that. I mean, every player that comes into the NHL is the best player in their league up until junior, I guess, right? So I always thought maybe that had a reason, and they have a little bit of success in the first year, and they think they can coast on that. Maybe the second year. I don't know. It's not a really good answer. I don't know. Who knows? They're young men getting comfortable when they shouldn't. It's time to keep learning, and they take their foot off the gas pedal a bit in that second year. It's got to be an immaturity thing. I don't know how to channel that, though, in what category.
You have any theories, Baba Louie?
No, I wish I really had an answer to it, though. But what's funny is, too, this seems to go across all 4 of the major sports.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I can't put my finger on it. Sorry.
I heard one theory once that I don't know if it accounts for all of this, but it did make sense to me that when you're a rookie and you go through the schedule, most teams are seeing you for the first time. When you come around in your sophomore year, the team's scouting departments and video departments and coaching staffs and players have all watched film on you. And you have to learn that you have to make adjustments you can't play the same game you've been playing your whole life because everybody knows your strengths and weaknesses at that point.
So what do you do when it's a guy like Crosby? He's just that good. He's like, you know what he's going to do, but you can't stop him. Does it get to that point?
Maybe. I mean, it's just a theory I heard that makes some sense. I'm not saying it's
does.
the answer, but it's about the only thing that because it is kind of odd that this happens to Louis' point in almost every sport. Well, hopefully he gets back on track soon. We need somebody from this 2023-24 class, at least one person to pan out. That would be good. Adam Fantilli is a 2023-24 Young Guns, PSA 10 pop, 928, 55% jam rate, less over 98 US dollars on December 13th, down about 20% in the past month. Louis, who did you pick for the struggle bus?
I went with Mr. Cutter Gauthier, and I was hoping. One sec. Excuse me. I was thinking this lad would have been able to hopefully start to right the ship for the Ducks this season, but not looking to be that way. He was the 5th overall pick from the 22 draft with a story of its own, but we can leave that for another time. He did snap a 5-game goal drought with a third period goal to break up Phil's Senators Linus Ullmark shutout a few days ago, but offense has been a challenge for the Ducks lately, and this was the 4th time in the last 6 games that they've been limited to just 1 goal in that span, which Gauthier has only 2 points. So I don't know what to say. I thought this was going to be a big breakout, honestly, but Cutter is a 2024 Young Guns, and his PSA 10 has a pop of 90 with a 30% gem rate, and the last one sold for $70 US on December 11th. Altogether, there's not a lot going on, so his card is down about 49% in the last month.
Oh,
yeah, 12 points in 29 games this year. Not horrible, but not.
Oh, yeah, I skipped all that. Yep. Hey, missed it. 4 goals. 4 goals, 8 assists, and 12 points. 29 games. Oof.
Okay, Phil, you get the last pick for the struggle bus.
Here we go. Sorry, blue team. I'm not trying to pick on you always, but this one was an easy one. I think you know where I'm going with this. This blue chip prospect is having a bit of a rough go, and he goes by the name Matthew Nyes. You know, Matthew Nyes is 6'2". I had no idea. He's a lot bigger than I thought. But he was drafted 57th overall in the 2021 draft. This blue team, the blue team and its followers have had very high hopes for this American stud, but he has not been trending well in the last couple of weeks. He is in his 3rd year of his sophomore status, but I consider it kind of only his 2nd year because he only played 3 games in his rookie year. So it's kind of like basically this is his sophomore year. So, hey, it's backing up what we were talking about. He started the season off pretty hot out of the gate, but now we're in the meat grinder of the NHL season. So maybe it's wearing on the little guy. I don't know. Or big guy, I should say. He was on pace earlier this year to smash his respectable 35 points last year. But unfortunately, it's taken a big step back. So he's my pick for the struggle bus this week. Maybe Berube can mentor this young man. I'm not really sure. Or John Tavares. I don't know. He looks like he's permanently stuck at being 45 years old. So he looks like a good mentor for the young lads. Matthew Nyes is a 23, 24 Young Guns. And his PSA 10 has a pop count of 474. I thought that'd be higher. With just a 27% gem rate. Ouch. And sold for 126 USD on December 12th. So it's been pretty flat over the past month. No big ups, no big downs. But he's my pick for the week.
Golden Gopher, Matthew Nyes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I verbalized this on the show, and I'm going to be curious to get your input on it too, Louis. I liked him at the U. I never thought he screamed like NHL superstar to me. Like good, solid, want to have him on your team kind of guy. But I don't know. Did you see anything when he was on the U that made you think he was going to be a 50 goal scorer in the NHL?
No, but and then the other side too is I didn't think Faber was going to be as good as he is either.
Fair point. Yeah, but he's on the Wild. Yeah, so, there we go. Okay, going to move on. Slab Sharks got to make a quick mention for them as a partner and sponsor of the show. We're very thankful for their support. The new Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live, ends this upcoming Thursday night. Shocking. Another banger with about 3,300 cards available in this week's auction. Lots of variety in these auctions too, which I'm very much appreciating. Baba Louie, the hobby's bushiest mustache and Phil and myself have each picked out our favorite cards from this week's auction to briefly share and talk about. Now, I wanted to see who should go first, so I looked it up online, and it appears that the answer is resoundingly the best looking. So that means, of course, I'll go first,
Mm-hmm.
and Phil go last. We're going to start out with the 2011 Upper Deck the Cup Alex Ovechkin scripted sticks auto out of 35. Game used stick relic. The auto's in silver, and it actually doesn't get lost in the sauce that you might think, because I think of the paint color with the auto pen. Lost in the sauce, very technical term. Phil, you might want to write that down. Lost in the sauce. Okay. This card is not typically my jam, but I like this one. I don't know.
It's your marmalade.
Oh. And then yeah, I was on. That's why I paused. I was going to sing it, but then for once in my life, I showed restraint on the show. And then just to tease Baba Louie off, I picked this 2012 Fleer Retro Martin Brodeur EX 2001 Essential Credentials Future out of 13 PSA 8. It's a great card.
Beautiful.
I really like this card. And I also had to pick it because we're doing the Devil's Hobby Mount Rushmore today. So, and
You
love
should
me
get
some. Love me some Essential Credentials. I have the Pablo Burry from this set, and just like this card, PSA put it in a weird like sleeve in the top loader, which
crinkled up.
Yeah, it wrecks it. So
Yeah,
maybe I need to talk to Brad about that. Show him this and say,
Yeah, what's up, Brad?
Bro.
Fix this.
Yeah, Brad, fix the sleeve, man.
on Harlan.
All right, Bobo Lubai, what are your favorite cards from the Slapshot auction?
First one I picked is a 2020 SP Authentic Future Watch Auto Kirill Kaprizov. Cards are just bangers. This one especially.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want one? I do.
I want one.
Yeah. And number 2. A 2014-15 SP Authentic Wayne Gretzky All-Time Moments, which is gold ink auto. Grab this because I hadn't seen it, but I think that gold ink, just like it doesn't stick out as much as your Ovi on that stick, but just keeping with the theme of the card with all the gold and signing it with the gold pen, I think.
Is that a little Dirty Sanchez mustache on him?
Maybe.
What is that going on? I've never seen
24-hour shadow, maybe.
That I don't. Okay.
Yeah. He kind of looks like he's giving the "Are you looking at my butt?" look, isn't he?
Well, he looks like he's presenting his butt.
Oh.
I implore the good listener to take a look at this all-time moments SP Authentic Wayne Gretzky autograph card Louis picked. It's interesting.
And why is that an all-time moment? Like, what happened in this moment to make it all-time?
I want to know about the mustache. It looks like a kid penciled that in.
It says Gretzky on the front of the card. On the top, all-time moments, and then at the bottom, on October 26, 1990, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Gretzky becomes the first and only NHL player to surpass 2,000 career points.
Yeah, the Pro Set 2,000 point card is pretty awesome. That's iconic in my world.
If I had to guess, this was a game that was a back-to-back game, and he didn't have time to shave, so he's got a little.
Yeah, but he has a perfect pencil mustache? That's not a 5 o'clock. That looks on purpose. Anyways.
Is he growing the Hulk Hogan Fu Manchu, or what was going on?
I don't know what's going on there. All right, am I up?
You're up.
Yeah.
Let's go. This is a great pick. Good listener. Okay. So what you're listening to is a 1990 7th inning sketch QM JHL Martin Brodeur. Now this card is just awesome for so many levels, and I'll explain some of them. If you know, you just know. So I'm pretty sure you boys have seen this card, but I don't think you feel this card. Maybe you do. I don't know. But before the super chase of Eric Lindros's Score Future Superstar card, and that was a big chase, there was this set. I don't know a lot about the company's 7th inning sketch, but I can tell you this particular Martin Brodeur card, and there's actually 3, but there's 2 particular Eric Lindros cards that are cemented in my memory forever and always. So the card you're looking at here is very iconic to a lot of Canadians. Not only were these highly sought after, every garage sale on the planet and church bazaar for the rest of the 90s had thousands and thousands of these base cards. This company invented what base cards are, okay? Because the only cards that they cared about was the Lindros and this Brodeur. That's it. That's all people cared about.
Can I show you something quick?
Sure.
I'll be back 2 seconds. I've never done this before. I'll be back. Hold on.
Okay. Can I keep talking? I'm going to keep talking.
Sure.
So Lindros was the second coming of Jesus. Okay. So that's what really catalysted this set. Well, he was in his Oshawa Generals as well. And I know Brodeur's over here, there's laser gear on. But it was this set is just phenomenal, and it's very nostalgic to a lot of people. So this Brodeur comes in at a respectable second place as the most famous 7th inning sketch card ever. And I'm surprised, Louis, you didn't go for it. But
here, don't fall off your chair when I say this.
Okay.
Didn't know this card existed.
Oh yeah, so it's a really cheesy card up north here, but it's so cheesy and old now. I like it again. You know.
All right.
So I got to show you something that I found here in my little town of Farmington, Minnesota, like 3 years ago on Facebook Marketplace for $10.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And if you open the
sketch, amazing.
Yeah, so it's the whole master set from 1991. And hopefully these don't fall out, but each of it has the box of.
Oh, look at that.
So
Josh,
the OHL,
the history, brother.
Yeah, it's a complete set
for $10. You got that?
Yeah.
So I've never look at all my hooting and hollering about how junky and loosey goosey I've seen this set my whole life. I've never seen a box like that. Never.
Oh, and it's the box is numbered too. You see that? Like
you
something out of
scoundrel. I'll buy that off you.
$64,000.
I'll trade you a Seth Jarvis O-Pee-Chee.
Seth Jones, you mean?
Seth Jones, sorry. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk later. We'll negotiate offline, Phil. I don't negotiate.
Okay, we'll negotiate.
It'll probably be missing by the time he wants to trade it to you for something.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Louis is gonna steal it. Okay,
right, so
you got another pick?
Yeah, that was my first pick. My second pick is this beautiful card I didn't even know existed. What you're looking at is a 2020 SP Signature Legend, Steve Yzerman UD Canvas Legends Auto. I feel so silly scanning over these cards all the time. I never really saw them autoed, so I had no idea there was UD Canvas and Legends. Is that where this card came from? The SP Legends box? No.
Yeah. So while you get like typically about 8 autos of nobody cares about in some boxes, they have really good at this is an awesome card. The Campbell Conference or All-Star jersey.
Yeah, sleeper. I have seen this card for sale. I just never really looked at it. So I mean, visually, this card is really special. We got a super young, innocent Stevie Y here before all the crap from the world darkened the light in his eyes and turned him into an evil GM boss. He was a great little innocent hockey player. He's wearing the Campbell jersey. I mean, what else do you need if you're a 90s kid like us, right? So the current bid is at $76. That's it. So
Crazy.
I probably will go for this card. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Would you crack that if you want it?
Oh, yeah, that's cracked 100%. And I get why the person did that. I get it. They didn't even get the card graded. They just got it authenticated. But I don't need PSA's opinion to tell me that autograph's pretty real. I trust Upper Deck and I trust my eyes of autos, and I'd rather have that in a one touch myself.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many Canadian hockey card collectors like Phil are turning to Slabshark's eBay consignment services because they make it very simple to sell your cards on eBay. And hey, they're still shipping, even though this crazy Canada post-strike persists for a day or so, it sounds like, but coming to an end, we hope. That's some fine hobby leadership, and actually Slabsharks has navigated the whole Canada post-strike thing very admirably, and so I give them a lot of credit for that. Hobby leadership is just one reason why people like Phil use Slabsharks for the eBay consignment services. They make it, again, so easy by doing all the work. You just send them your cards or drop them off at a show, and they do the rest. All your cards get included in one of the most popular hockey auctions there is, Slabsharks weekly eBay auction. So for complete consignment services, including payout rates, and to get the process started today, check out slabsharks.com. Hobby news.
Hobby news.
Swen Ebo.
Yay! Okay, now, first of all,
We didn't-
now acknowledge Swen Ebo. I had such like sweaty palms when you did that because Brad, we knew it. Like I'm texting him and he's coming on right now. I know you were kind of sad for a second that you came up with something very cute and endearing, and nobody seemed to care.
We didn't care.
You guys just glossed right over it and then slammed Heartland right in my face. That's okay. That's okay.
Well, speaking of PSA, do you guys see this? They had an announcement the other day that they have a new insert for die cut cards. So for regular service levels and above, they'll be putting a fitted insert in with die cuts as they are holdered or slabbed. They're terming it custom fit encapsulation. Very fancy. I think one of the things we forgot to tell Brad is that you're supposed to break news like this on our show. What the heck? It was just here. Could have, made us cool. Break some news. The insert that will be added for all die cut cards is transparent and will come with no additional cost. Not every die cut card, though, will get the insert. If 3 sides of the card align with the internal rails, as PSA puts it, they will not use an insert. Adding these inserts will prevent cards from moving, getting cattywampus. It's a science term you might want to write down, Louis. Cattywampus, science term. In the slab, and maybe even prevent damage. So it's a good move by PSA. And it's not, it happens in Beckett, it happens in SGC too. It stinks when you have a card that's all like sideways in the hole there. That's annoying. So good move, good on them.
I always said kitty wampus.
I did too, and then I looked it up online. It's cattywampus.
All right. Well, I better fix my English.
You have an opinion on kitty versus catty, Bill?
Not a strong one. No, I think both work.
Are you excited about the custom fit encapsulation? You're not a big die cut guy, though.
Die cuts aren't my jam, but if they were, I would be very happy. Yeah, not a piece of news that affects my PC.
When I think of this in hockey, I think of the Hot Shots cards from Metal Universe that have the 90s roots, that kind of like this card that we're showing with the baseball card with all the flames around it. Yeah, so I would, if I had one in PSA slab, I'd want it in this sort of fitting. Okay, we got to talk about the Canada Post strike. So Steve McKinnon, no relation to Nathan,
our labor minister,
is your labor minister, Phil, and
he is.
You knew that. Oh wow, okay, that's very good on you. Maybe you're a little more Canadian than I thought. No. Well, he's had enough. He's done with this whole Canada Post strike and starting to put the wheels of government in motion to end the hobby buzzkill that is the strike. We're almost a month into it now. And remember, Phil, you predicted it the last 2 days, I think. So
I said about a week. I didn't know how distracted the feds were. So anyways.
So McKinnon, and again, Steve, not Nathan, has asked the Canada Industrial Relations Board to determine if the Union and Postal Service are in an impasse, that if a deal is not going to get done. If the board agrees, that would set the stage for Steve McKinnon to order the postal workers back to work under the old agreement until May of 2025. I'm sure they'll be really jazzed about that. Huh? I suppose at this point, too, if they haven't had paychecks for a month, they might want to go back to work.
No, I think they're still getting paychecks.
Being on strike?
How do you get, no.
Don't you get strike pay or something?
No.
I don't know.
You would never go back to work.
Well, the first line of Canada Post I see are, so if I go to my post office, we have pharmacy people that work for Canada Post on contract. The woman that delivers mail to my house doesn't deliver mail to my house. She delivers it to a box at the end of my street, and she's a contractor for Canada Post. So this is so frustrating. I don't see Canada Post. And then I made one comment, and then one guy made a comment on one of our videos. He's like, well, where do you think the mail just shows up at the post office by itself? Come on, dude. That's not what I'm saying. These aren't postal workers trekking through snow uphill both ways, and everyone's in their car. Everyone's convenient, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, they're asking for like a 24% raise. That's a lot,
dude. It's crazy. They get 7 weeks paid off at you. I don't want to start going, man. I've never been part of a union. I've always worked for my own dollar. I don't have
Oh, and
good
I'm never
feelings.
going to argue people getting more money. So good on them.
No, that's very true.
I
Yeah.
hope
So
they're successful too. So Steve McKinnon wants to order the postal service workers back to work, so Nathan McKinnon cards can flow again to houses all over Canada. And I agree, come hell or high water, this has got to end soon. So Phil, what's the Canadian perspective? What's the vibe, the scuttlebutt about
well,
the
everyone's
possibility?
just frustrated enough. I think a lot of people thought it would be done quicker because that is something the federal government should have stepped in a while ago. And they always have in the past, but they didn't this time. And my guess is I just think they're distracted with other things. But there's a few facts that remain here. In reality, the labor board is deciding today, Monday or Tuesday. They might be a little busy on the Monday. So technically they can't make them go back to work though. I don't think the labor board can't do that, but they can strongly recommend them, and the government would tell them to go back to work after that. Just red tape, bureaucratic stuff. So upholding any political circus shenanigans, the mail should start flying midweek. So we'll see.
Not just the hobby, but how damaging has this been after a month to the economy?
I don't know. I'm not really paying attention. I don't like. There's no newspapers anymore. I don't really seek out news so it's just what I hear on the radio. I listen to local radio about 10, 15 minutes, and then I get sad and I stop listening. So yeah. And it's the
Start crying?
weekend. I'm not listening to any news or anything.
Is this you listening to the radio?
Oh, God.
I used to listen to CBC radio my whole life. I can't do it anymore. I just listen to TSN now, but yeah.
All right, one last story in hobby news. Have you guys seen this? Michael Misa could be looking at, well, depending how you want to put it, maybe one heck of a college scholarship he could, or a payday to come play college hockey in the U.S. It's being reported or rumored or something that Misa's being offered an NIL, name, image, and likeness package worth north of 1.4 million US dollars to come play hockey in Boston College next year. Apparently, the maximum NIL based pay is just 950,000 before you could get up to 1.4 million with performance bonuses, which is crazy to think of for a college student. That seems like an NHL kind of arrangement. Many people think Misa could be the number one overall pick in next summer's NHL entry draft. Currently plays for the Saginaw Spirit in the OHL, and they do not pay their players. They give education stipends and living stipends, stuff like that. On the season, he's got, in 28 games played, he's got 29 goals, 30 assists for 59 points. So he's doing well in the OHL. And I tried to do some research on largest college NIL deals and couldn't come up with much. But I'm sure if he took over $1 million, it'd be one of the biggest college hockey deals to date. So
do you think that'll change the young lads moving forward? Like, imagine if Vander Kane got $1 million at this kid's age. Forget about it.
They would never make it to the NHL. I think, though, that it could mean that the top flight talent will probably come play in the US.
No, I think then the CHL should figure out a counter maneuver. Go whatever gives us the best hockey. I'm not nationalistic in that sense.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about it. It's not like hockey is football here in the US. I don't think there's going to be mountains of money that start flowing into NIL. But that being said, though, even 50 grand a year to a kid who's never made anything could be, or 100 grand could be very tempting too. So we'll have to see what happens. But I think at what is this kid, like 17, 18 years old, something like that? Hard pressed to turn down $1 million. When if you're his parent, you're like, take it. Because you never know what's going to happen, right? You never know how much money he'll make in the NHL.
True. Or get hurt.
Yeah, that too. All right, Baba Louie, you ready for this? Hobby Mount Rushmore, one of your 54 favorite teams, the New Jersey. Ooh, look at that.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Fun.
That's pretty cool looking. So as promised, we're back with Hobby Mount Rushmore. This week, we're taking on the New Jersey Devils. Again, one of Baba Louie's favorite teams. In Hobby Mount Rushmore, we nominate who we feel are the most deserving players from each franchise based on their individual awards and accomplishments, meaning to the franchise and fans, and then finally their hobby market. Now, Louie.
Yes. Before
I started the list, did you and your very beautiful, exotic mind have who you thought should be, like, is this easy peasy in your book, or Was there some sort of internal debate that you went through?
No, this this one actually isn't a super easy one unless you want to take out, well, the hobby part of this one's not easy.
Yeah.
It'd
There's some
be
great
easy
players
if we
with
just went straight off to, the New Jersey Devils player Mount Rushmore. That
Yeah.
could be difficult. There's a lot to choose from. You'd have to do some digging, but with it being the hobby Mount Rushmore, 2, 3 are super easy. Fourth one,
tough.
tough. And there's only maybe, I think you had in there one other guy.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it. There's really nobody to snub from this.
Phil, are the New Jersey Devils one of your favorite 400 teams?
I like the Devils. I'm a big.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to
Right.
say some names. There's some key players from the 80s and 90s that I really like.
Okay. Well, we'll see
Yeah,
how I
so
did.
I'm excited for this. Let's see what happens.
Here we go. The first nominee to the Devils Hobby Mount Rushmore is Martin Brodeur.
No, really?
No. Now, Martin Brodeur is synonymous with the New Jersey Devils, is widely regarded as the face of the franchise. His impact goes beyond statistics and trophies, embodying the team's identity and its golden era of success. Marty played all but 7 of his 1,266 career games with the New Jersey Devils. It's the most games played by Devils goalie and the most games played by any goalie in NHL history. His 688 wins is the most, or with the Devils, is the most by any goalie with any one team, and also the most of any goalie in NHL history as well. And yes, he did get 3 more wins with the Blues, so that's how you get to 691.
How awkward was that?
Does he have a card for the Blues?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no. That's got to be horrible.
It does not look right at all.
No.
No.
So we got Wayne Gretzky in the Blues. We got Brodeur in the Blues.
Yeah, and like never for even 40 games, right? Because didn't Wayne play like 20 games or something like that, the Blues?
I
Something like
don't
that.
know. It's so bad.
In his 1,259 games with the Devils, Brodeur compiled a .912 save percentage and 2.24 goals against. That's pretty dang good for that many games. That means you're a good goalie. So, write that down.
All right.
It's the lowest goals against of any goalie in team history that played at least 25 games. His .912 save percentage is the second highest in franchise history behind Corey Schneider's .915. Now, with the Devils, Marty Brodeur won the Calder Memorial Trophy as the top NHL rookie in 1994. The Vezina Trophy only 4 times, 03, 04, 07, 08. The William and M. Jennings Trophy 5 times. He's tied with Patrick Waugh for the most in NHL history. Was the first All-Star team selection in there 3 times, a second All-Star team selection 4 times. And oh yeah, he won 3 Stanley Cups with the New Jersey Devils. If that's not enough to convince you, there's a statue of Martin Brodeur outside of the Prudential Center, the Devils Arena. Brodeur is a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. His number 30 was retired by the Devils in 2016. So this is the easiest one by far. And year to date, per card letter sales history, more than 11,500 Martin Brodeur cards have sold on the secondary markets. 40 of those sales were for more than 500 US. And the highest selling Brodeur card to date is kind of a shocker. I got to be honest. You got to tell me if this surprises you, Phil. 1990 Score Canadian rookie with an in-person auto that received a PSA 10 auto 10 grade. So for $3,266 US dollars in December of 2021.
Yeah, that's the Quebecers, man. Patrick Waugh, Martin Brodeur, right? I mean, I'm gonna go Patrick Waugh, but Brodeur's what, top 3 goalies of all time? It's got to be, right? So
modern goal, yeah, it's hard. I mean, how do you compare
you
Jacques
can't.
Plante to Martin Brodeur?
No, you can't.
Very, very
Yeah,
tough.
so modern era, Hasek, Waugh, Brodeur.
Brodeur.
Done.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And I think when you go to the all-time like goalie Rushmore, then it's Waugh gets the nod for the modern.
Yeah,
guys,
I would
typically,
too. Yeah.
I would say. Anything you want to throw in about your guy, one of your PC guys, Louis Martin Brodeur?
Ugh, $3,200 for this card, even 3 years ago.
No, but it means
Seems
something to
absurd.
somebody.
I
Listen,
know.
this is a
That's
scorecard. It means something to somebody. So somebody, I get I get this. I get this buy. And I can't stand IPs, in-person autos, IAs, IP, whatever.
Yeah.
But I get this purchase. I really, really do.
Okay, Martin Brodeur is the first nominee to the Devils Hobby Mount Rushmore. The second is Scott Stevens, who spent the last 13 of his 22-year career playing for the Devils, played a total of 956 games with the team, scored 93 goals, added 337 assists for 430 points with the Devils. His 430 points is second all-time on the franchise leaderboard for points by a defenseman. Scott Niedermayer is the franchise leader with 476. Stevens' 93 goals is second to Niedermayer as well on the franchise all-time list for D. Now, Stevens was the captain of the Devils from 1992 until 2004. As the Devils captain for much of their most successful era, he symbolized toughness, determination, and leadership. He led the team to 4 Stanley Cup finals in 9 years, winning 3 cups in 95, 2000, and 2003. I didn't know this or remember it, but sadly in 2004, his career ended due to post-concussion syndrome after getting hit in the head with a slap shot.
Hmm.
You guys remember that?
No.
yes.
Ugh. I didn't even have the part of me wanted to go look it up, but then I'm like, do I really want to see that? No.
Was that the
So,
Smolinski thing? No, that wasn't it. Brian Smolinski?
I don't know.
No, okay.
Do you know, Louis?
Trying to think of who it was. Pavel Kubina, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let me look it up.
I think Smolinski was body check or something. I have a bad memory of that.
Hitting the left side of the head with a scalding. Pavel Kubina slap shot.
Oh, nice, Louis. Nice.
Yeah, that would not feel great. For the 2000 Cup run, Stevens won the Conn Smythe Trophy. He was elected to the Hall of Fame.
Hold on one second, though. On that, see, I didn't know this part. I knew he got shot in the head, but this is crazy.
Well,
What
he
el-
got shot. Now I got to tell you,
No,
I don't think he got shot in the head. He got hit by a slap shot.
Some on the some on the team still believe that the Lightning defenseman had intended to shoot the puck at the Devils captain's face.
He probably did. Like, you know what? He probably did. Like Scott Stevens wasn't. Look what he did to Paul Korea. I'm sorry, man. I love Scott Stevens growing up, but as I've gotten older, just watching his attitude, like that no remorse, like that bro code thing. Yeah, come on,
Sure.
man. Like he had no remorse for that Korea hit. You destroyed the greatest hockey player, top 3 in the world. Anyways, very upsetting.
What's the name of that song? Got to keep your head up.
No, I understand you got to keep your head up, but there's a viciousness to that hit, and I don't know. I loved Scott Stevens, and I don't anymore. I don't. Yeah,
All because of that.
it has left a bad. Maybe I've watched too many Korea documentaries. I don't know, but I feel for that guy, and I that was an event that changed his life, and just watching Stevens' attitude after it makes it kind of gross in a weird way. Like he's like, "Well, keep your head up, kid." I agree, and I used to be like, "Yeah, I agree," you know. But it's been like what, 25 years, 20 years?
Sure.
Anywho,
Stevens was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2007. His number 4 was retired by the Devils prior to that in 2006. Not a huge hobby market, but per card ladder sales history, about 1,200 Scott Stevens cards have sold on the secondary markets year to date. 2 of those sales are for more than 500 US. The all-time highest selling Scott Stevens card is this 1983-84 O-Pee-Chee rookie BGS 10 pristine. That sold for 1,000 US in October 2021. So you would not have it.
It's funny his how long he's been in the league. All my memories are from the 90s, but he had like what, 5-6 years to get going. Maybe he went on cycle because he got, look at him. No one, maybe he's our Barry Bonds of the NHL and no one's paying attention.
Speaking of cards that are kitty or cattywampus in the holder, hey, it's all bent to one side. So we have Martin Brodeur, Scott Stevens. Now, in a hobby Mount Rushmore where you balance awards, achievements, and meaning to the franchise and hobby, sometimes we do pick players like Stevens who have more of the weight goes towards the meaning to the franchise, glory, and cups that are won. And then there's other players that have just such huge hobby stars that I guess cups be damned. We
Mhm.
can't ignore them. So that's why Jack Hughes gets the third spot on the Devils hobby Mount Rushmore. Hughes is currently in his sixth season with the Devils. He was the first overall pick in the 2019 NHL draft. In 338 games played, he's 126 goals, 319 points. Now, in 2022-23, he registered 99 points, setting the franchise's all-time record for most points in a season, and by a whisker, becoming very close, the first Devils player to ever score 100 points in a season. Isn't that crazy that this team has
Almost.
never had a 100-point scorer?
What?
Yeah,
Not
you
Kirk Muller?
thought I was out of my mind when I wrote that.
Kirk Muller never got
while
100
ago.
points.
No.
Wow. Did not expect that.
And again, it's he was also the fastest Devils player to reach 200 points, but again, this is more about the hobby. Year to date, 10,500 Jack Hughes cards have sold in the secondary markets per card letter sales history. 240 of those sales were for more than $500 US. The highest selling Jack Hughes card of all time is this 2019-20 Exquisite Collection Rookie Auto Shield 101 BGS 8.510 that sold for $17,080 US about a week ago.
Holy
December
crap.
Mhm.
$17,000?
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. That's crazy. Ugh. I guess they
Yeah,
really
it's-
like
yeah.
Jack. Yeah.
What do you think about putting Jack Hughesville on the hobby Mount Rushmore for the Devils?
Yeah, you have to. I like the way you described it with Stevens. A little bit more of the weight on the scale is towards his NHL accomplishments, and in this one, it'll be a little bit more on the hobby. But the kid's a stud, man. He's the real deal. We've had 5 years to learn that. He's that good. He's that good. Just watch him play. That's all you need. The eye test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to
Okay.
get some cards. I'd love to get some cards of him because
Yeah.
I think he's going to be. I think he's here to stay, and he's going to lead the pack in this new crop of blue chip guys that are really going to pan out for a lot of years to come.
Are you wearing Christmas lights pajama pants?
No pork chops.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's cozy day.
Mm.
I had a late night last night, man. I got
Who
home.
has-
So anyway,
Well, stick a pin in that, but you have pork chop pajama pants?
don't. I have bacon ones too. I have bacon. I have pork chops. I think that's it in the food
Okay.
categories. Oh, French fries. I got a French fries pajama bottoms as
Of
well.
course. Of course. Were you at a cottage last night?
No, I was at the ballet. Yeah. I brought my brother. He's never been to the ballet before, so I
I'm
brought
sorry,
him and he had a good
what?
time. Yeah, a lot of good dancing, a lot of fun. And
Was it
got
the
home a little-
Nutcracker?
You could say that. I mean, yeah.
Well,
little
it's
bit.
Christmas time, but so
Yeah.
the ballet it was the Nutcracker performance.
Oh, I guess you guys don't call the ballet in USA what we call the ballet in Canada, eh? Put your hands
Oh,
together for the Nutcracker. Yeah, it's that
Good
ballet.
grief. Come on
Okay.
now. Couldn't we have
Yeah.
done this during the Rangers of the Blue Jackets?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
That's
Louis.
fine.
Josh got distracted. I don't know.
Well,
who-
he put his knee up, and I saw like pork. Well, it looked like Christmas lights, but apparently pork chops on pajama pants.
Yeah.
The last one was tough, and I'm not even looking for because I don't know if I made the right choice still. And this is where I might hear from it or hear from some fans about it. But the last spot on the New Jersey Devils hobby Mount Rushmore goes to the franchise's all-time leading scorer, Patrick Elias. Elias played all 20 of his NHL seasons with the Devils. Critical player during the Devils Stanley Cup wins in 2000, 2003. Elias's clutch performances, especially in the playoffs, solidified his status as a big-time player. His 1,240 games played with the team are third most in franchise history. He's one of only 4 players to ever play 1,000 games with the Devils. Elias scored 408 goals, added 617 assists for 1,025 points. All 3 of those are franchise records: goals, assists, and points.
Wow.
He's the only Devils player to ever score 1,000 points with the team. He's also the Devils' all-time leader in playoffs points, having scored 125 points in 162 playoff games played. Do you guys feel like the NHL or that fans or even the hobby, we don't value playoff production more? It's like everything's always regular season. You notice that?
Yeah, we never really do talk about playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because Stanley Cup or nothing. No one cares. Oh, I had the most points in the playoffs, but I never won a Stanley Cup. Yeah, no one cares, man.
There's not much from like an NHL or an individual award perspective for Eliash. He was selected to the All Rookie team in 1998. Sorry, won the NHL Plus Minus Award in 2001. That's a big one for Phil. He likes that better than the Art Ross. Finally, he was selected to play in 4 All-Star games during his career, and of course, he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. The Devils retired Eliash as number 26 in 2018. And again, now here's one where if this was purely a hobby only Mount Rushmore, it would have been very hard to add Eliash to one of our 4 spots. This is where it gets tough. His market is a lot anemic, but again, I just felt he had so much meaning to the franchise. He sort of slid in. Year to date, 840 Patrick Eliash cards have sold in the secondary markets per card letter sales history. 4 of those sales for more than 500 US. Highest selling Eliash card all times, the 1998-99 Upper Deck Choice StarQuest Gold out of 100, sold for 911 US back in August of this year. Okay, Phil, I want to get your and Louis' comments. Just go through my one snub first. So, part of why Eliash made it is there weren't a lot of snub-worthy candidates. Scott Niedermayer was the one that I came up with. Of course, he was a great player for the team. He's the all-time leading scorer for a defenseman, 3-time Stanley Cup champion. He did win the Norris with the Devils in 2004 as well. And it kind of just came down, I'm just being honest, to not wanting 2 defensemen with paltry hobby markets on their Mount Rushmore. And so I kind of weighed him and Stevens, and it just seemed like from the research I did that Stevens has more of a meaning to the team and franchise than Niedermayer did, but I could be wrong there. I'm sure we'll hear from some fans. And so, Phil, in your mind, did I get it? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong?
I probably would. I'm a huge Scott Niedermayer fan. The reason is he's the first player I ever saw live that could skate that way. I couldn't believe the way he skated. I remember watching he was just one of the best skaters I've ever seen in my life. Silky smooth. But I probably would have given the nod to Stevens as well. Just more of an impact, more of I'd say he's more polarizing too, right? So I would have picked Stevens. Niedermayer has more points than Stevens, though, I think, right?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah, and Stevens was the whole captain. I don't know, Louis, you're the Devils fan. Where do you fall in the Stevens versus Niedermayer debate?
For this, I think you did this the right way. You're gonna hear both ways though between Stevens and Niedermayer, but we gotta push in doing this. I still gotta push more towards the hobby market. It's called a hobby Mount Rushmore, so
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's an easy it's an easy snub. Scott Niedermayer. Who are your other snubs?
That was really it. I mean, I honestly
What?
didn't. Okay, well, you tell me.
Okay, well, off the top of my head, Bobby Holik, that would be one.
Think
Yes,
from
Brad?
a hobby perspective though too.
Yeah, but they still need. This is the part where we need to mention them.
Okay.
I didn't pick them. I'm mentioning them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, he's got no hobby love, but John McClane, the greatest hockey name ever, Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie, by the way. So John McClane, he's got to be in like their top 10 of points. I said
Gomez,
Scotty Gomez, Kirk Muller. Kirk Muller, what that guy was like Stefan Richer, but on steroids. Kirk Muller was amazing. He's got to be in their top 10 for. I don't know if he played for New Jersey that long, but he was a pure goal scorer. You didn't, I don't know. So
he played for maybe like 7, 8 for like a cup of coffee, Louis.
Yeah. I think that's maybe didn't Travis Zajac?
No.
No, I don't know.
No.
That's all I got.
No,
That's all I got.
No North Dakota people in there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you look at like the goal scorers, so you have
we got
Eliash 1, McLean, Bobby Holik, Zajac.
Oh, he's not in there.
Muller's 6th.
Oh, really? Goals. I thought he would have been higher than that. I have He was a wicked goal scorer.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just remember he was.
And Pat Verbeek, Peter Sikora, and Brian Giannotta round out the top 10.
Pat Verbeek. Yeah, that's
Gianta.
another good one. I forgot
Gianta,
about
sorry.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skate fast, skate low. Pat Verbeek.
Well, there's your Devils Hobby Mount Rushmore. Who's next, guys? We have the Capitals, Hurricanes, Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, or Blue Jackets.
Penguins? Let's do Penguins. Yeah,
I do
Neil
that.
Broughton.
I don't
Neil
care.
Broughton,
Go
my
for
number
it.
one pick.
Tristan Jarry.
There you go. Yeah, let's do
Okay,
Penguins.
we'll
Because you
do
guys aren't
Penguins.
saying anything, so.
Oh,
I was
just
reading the
digesting.
names. I don't care. Go for it. Penguins it is.
Quack,
All right,
quack.
we're gonna make
Oh, that's a
what?
duck.
What?
I thought it was, he said Penguins it is, and I said quack, quack. But that's what yeah.
That's a goose. That's a goose. Fanatics is a Gongshow partner sponsor. We're thankful for their support of our show. The December premiere auction ends this Thursday night. 5 hockey cards in this month's premiere. Roll through them again quickly. A 79 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky PSA 9. That's a nice card. 2000 Upper Deck Master Collection. Wayne Gretzky quad jersey patch auto out of 9 BGS 810. With a big Gretzky card. Then 3 McDavid rookies. 2015 the Cup RPA out of 99 BGS 910. 3 color, kind of technically. There's a little bit of orange sneaking in on the right. Then a 2015 Fleer Showcase green PMG out of 10 BGS 8.5. And then finally a 2015 the Cup Gold Spectrum rookie auto BGS 910. So all monster kind of grail cards. I love those PMGs from 2015 Fleer Showcase. So nice. Can't wait to see where they end up this Thursday night. Again, fanaticscollect.com. Also, don't forget about the Buy Now Marketplace with thousands of awesome hockey cards to choose from. And I have to admit, too, it made me think about my own personal preference. Are you guys do you prefer buy now, like buy it now type sales, or do you like auctions better? I don't, auctions stress me out. I don't like them.
Yep, I'm with you. Auction stressed me out. I love it. It's an exhilarating right to the last moment, but it ruins my evening when I don't win the card. So I'd rather buy it now and pay an extra few bucks.
Yep.
Okay. Also, the current Fanatics weekly auction is live. That ends this upcoming Sunday night. We'll highlight our favorite vintage and modern cards on Thursday's show. I'll probably go first because I'm the best looking. And in the meantime, though, head to fanaticscollect.com to check out the weekly. Mark your favorites and maybe play some early bids. Well, a few minutes ago, we had the chance again to speak with Sylvain Cormier for Chapter 8 of Confessions with a Card Dealer. Phil's opted out because you're too close to him. You don't.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to him all the time. It's craziness, man. Yes, I'm not in these confessions of a hockey card dealer. It's bad enough I got to talk to the guy every day anyway. So,
Oof.
oof.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Yeah.
Last time we talked to Sylvain, we were at, I think we started the conversation this way. We were at the Sport Card Expo. That was the one where you did sit in, Phil. He was just wrapping up a pretty successful week for him. And even though it's been like 5 weeks from, does it seem like the Expo was about a decade ago at this point?
Yes.
Very long ago. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited to check back in and see what Sylvain's been up to since then. Is he wheeling and dealing? You know, what happens to a card dealer around Christmas time? Do things spice up or do they shut down? I have lots of questions. So with that, let's welcome back Sylvain Cormier for Chapter 8 of Confessions of a Card Dealer. Well, we know with that music, it's time to welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, Sylvain Cormier, our card dealer for, I think it's Chapter 8. Did we decide, Louis, of Confessions with a Card Dealer? Is that what we, okay.
Yep.
Well, hi, Sylvain.
You're still kind of confused, so you got things labeled like 8, 9, but we'll go with 8.
Chapter whatever. We'll call it.
Yeah. Well, hi, Josh. And I hadn't heard that song in a while because last time we met, we did an ad-lib version of it. So I think it's been a good 2 months since I heard that song. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, let's pick up there. Last time we talked, we were on the show floor at the Fall Toronto Sport Card Expo in the Slab Sharks recording studio. It was on Sunday, earlier in the day. And at that point, you were pretty excited about the week that you had at the expo. So now that it's a month later, it feels like about a year later. That feels like so long ago. But
I know.
I, put a bow on the expo. I mean, how would you rate it from like 1 to 10 as far as the outcomes that you were looking to create?
I'd say a solid like 9, eight and a
Nice.
half to 9. And I guess 8.5 is more appropriate, and I can kind of explain why a little bit later. In terms of like deals on the spot, it was, a 9 or 9.5 even. Like in terms of my shows, it was the best show I'd ever been to, as far as the deals that I said yes to, the deals that I said no to, how
Mhm.
that all worked out, the networking and everything. It was almost a 10. I'm pretty picky. It takes a lot for me to go to a 10, but I'm that was close. It was really close.
You were having a banger of a sales side when I came over there to pick up a card from you. That gentleman you were dealing with for me. Holy cow. What,
Yeah, that
20
was
cards
like
deep or something. Wow.
a $5,000 sale.
That would
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. It was just I could tell it was a reseller, and I'm priced to move things. And some people, they're purists and they're like, I only want to sell to collectors because they don't like the idea of people making money off of them, or at least because that implies that they could make more money as like if they sold it to a collector versus selling it to another vendor that knows other collectors or whatever. I don't necessarily think like that. I actually enjoy sourcing other vendors. It keeps the churn going, and if I'll sell a little bit under market value if you buy in bulk, and if you can sell it at exactly market value and you're a little bit more patient and holding on to them, good for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was that kind of deal. And it was, I think it was on the Sunday, like not that long before the interview.
Mhm.
Really well.
Did
Yep.
you do more buying or selling that week?
Selling for sure. I had
Okay.
especially after quitting my job, I just had some financials to take care of. I also wanted to reset my inventory. The things that I did buy ended up putting up on auction. I either graded on site and put up on auction, or I graded on site and tried to sell there, or I bought already graded and tried to sell there. But anything that didn't sell, I ended up auctioning off. And I
Mhm.
think that's why I bumped point 0.5 points, was because of how the auctions ended up. And I think the
Yeah.
Canada Post strike had something to do with that too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Mhm.
And was one of the cards the Matthew Nyes orange checkers that you had mentioned in our group chat? Is that, do you want to tell that story?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So that was a little odd. So this was on Friday, so the day after preview day. This gentleman came over, a young gentleman, probably in his late teens, early 20s. He had pulled a Matthew Nyes orange checkered auto. When we checked the comps, there were only 2 sales, and the last sale was like 2 weeks prior,
Mm.
maybe even a week and a half prior to our deal. And there were 2 raw sales. The first sale was $1,100, I think it's September, and then $1,500 at the end of October. So I offered him the lowest of the comp, which was $1,100, and he accepted. So, okay, great. It looked really clean. I'm like, you know what? I think I can grade this on site. And I did, and it got a 10. So it was a 10 pop one. The last raw sale was $1,500. So I was all excited about that.
How
And
much did the cost to get it graded? Do you remember?
it was 120 Canadian plus tax. So it was around 140. So I'm like,
Okay.
$1,250 into the cart.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I ended up auctioning it off, and it sold for like $950. So it sold for much less than the last raw sale. And that was surprising, but it's the type of card and the type of player. I had someone who's been dealing for a long time. He's like, yeah, players like that, they'll have a cap sometimes, and when the
Yeah.
product just released, it'll be hot. But like if a PSA 10 comes out, he said, I bet you if a raw sale comes out, it'll be $500 to $600. So
Wow.
like, okay, well, lesson learned. Another thing where it's like, if I'm gonna make big plays, I should stay with Future Watch Autos and Young Guns. But I thought for sure I was gonna make at least $500 to $800 there, but
Mhm.
up losing $300-400. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you would
I could
think
echo
would
that.
be-
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead, Louis.
you would think that with the only 10 out there now.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pop one. It's orange checkers out of 15, so it's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
I think the buyer got a really good deal, but it also what happened is that those cards were put up, and Slab Sharks is handling the Canada Post strike extremely well, but the cards got put up on the Thursday and then the strike got announced on the Friday. So this was before Slab Sharks had made a formal announcement that they're still going to ship everything. I think just people in general, like on eBay, especially Canadians, were just hesitant to bid on certain things. That's my theory. I could be completely wrong, but I did hear other people say, yeah, I auctioned off cards that week as well, and I got softer bids than I expected.
Another factor, and you've already kind of mentioned this, but I think I would stay away from any comp within 2 to 3 weeks after a product comes out.
Very true. When did
Because it
Platinum come out? Wasn't it like
wasn't far before the expo.
right?
You probably would have been in probably a 2-3 week window.
Because there was a sale in September and the expo was in November. So I think like the September sale was when it came out.
Oh,
when it
okay.
had
Maybe
just
it'd been
came
on
out.
6 weeks, something like that then. So
Yeah, it was that
you probably would.
$1,500 sale. Sorry, it was that $1,500 sale that made me confident enough to pay for the first sale. And this was on Card Ladder, verified. So I was like, okay, this is a legit $1,500 sale that after the first sale. So
But then though too, like when you get to those really low number cards, like an orange checkers, where it's maybe hard to know if it's an outlier or not, versus like a Young Guns that has sales constantly, and you can identify outliers very easily. Right?
Agreed.
It's got to, when you're pinning to one comp, it's like, is that the true value of the card, or did somebody just was that Matthew Nye's dad that got really excited and overbid and bought the card?
Exactly. And that's something to factor in too. I think a $200 and some loss, $300 loss. Okay, it stings, but with how well my expo went, like it's not, and it's a learning experience. I'm okay learning these, 3-figure lessons here and there. That doesn't, my aggregate total is in the net positive, so I'm happy with that. But it was definitely a surprise.
I imagine too that part of being a car dealer is you can't expect to win on every deal. Like even the best laid plan, the most solid research, and in cases where in the past, if it's worked out, even it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have the same success in the future. And it's a game of, it's kind of like a baseball player, right? You don't get a hit every time you go to bat. Where the successful ones are the people that come out ahead more often than you lose, right? It's just like if you can be 65-35, you can have a pretty good career, I would assume, doing this.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's a perfect analogy. And if I can get even another baseball analogy, is sometimes I'll hit a single, sometimes I'll hit a double, and those are the cards where the moves that I make 20% on, but I'll get one. I've got one Grand Slam this year, which was the Hyman thing. I made 90% profit on a $6,000 investment, and but I mean, I hear stories of like 200% profit on some investments, and I've never had one of those. So I guess maybe my Zach Hyman thing is more of a home run than an actual Grand Slam. But and I don't bank on Grand Slams. I bank on my singles and doubles, right? So
All right, we got to talk about the Canada Post strike. So that hasn't, or I can't imagine that's been a good thing for you.
Actually, for me, other than what I mentioned, where my specific auction of like my whole inventory got put up the day before the strike got announced. Other than that, like I've been at a show every weekend. I missed one show when I got back because I was sick from the Toronto Expo. But in the last 3 weeks, I've had 5 shows, and I have another show next weekend. So just local show after local show after local show. And anything that doesn't move or anything that I bought on site, I'll bring to the next show And then if it did move by then, if I have a decently sized Slab Shark submission, I'll include some of my cards that I got there. And now my Slab Shark sales are back, in like Slab Shark sales in general are back to comps and even above, like a Kaprizov. I think Kaprizov is up to like 260 or 270 Canadian. So like people are still buying, and because people have received their Slab Sharks packages in the mail. So it's been, it actually hasn't affected me at all. I just haven't been posting on Facebook Marketplace, but I'm also too busy at shows to post on Facebook Marketplace. So it's just been good.
So do you think in a way the strike has helped shows because you don't have to rely on shipping and more people can come and just buy cards and take them home with them?
Actually, yeah, maybe, because the shows were really busy. I thought it was because of the holidays. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, and people are selling very low. Like people coming to my table and would you buy this? And like some of them want 60 or 70% comps. They tell me their number and it's like 60 or 70% comps, and it's because it's close to Christmas time and they need to move things and they want cash. And it was a great opportunity to buy. And I've actually been dabbling in other sports because the Halifax show that I had.
Sylvain.
Yeah,
He's cheating.
So I forgot who the play. I think it was Luka Doncic, and a guy came to my table. This was in Halifax, where I set up with one of like the top affiliate for Slab Sharks is Jeff Jones, and he's in Halifax. I was set up with him, and a gentleman came up to me. He was like, "Do you buy?" And I said, "Yes." He showed me a basketball card, and I was like, "Oh, I'm more into hockey." Jeff will be here in 2 minutes. So Jeff shows up. He looks up the comp on the card. Comp's like $1,200 to $1,300 Canadian, and the guy's like, "I want $750." And then Jeff was like, "Sold." And then 30 minutes later, he sold it for around $1,100. I'm like, okay, I need to at least look up comps of the superstars and ask the guy what he wants before I pass on these, because you made $500 in 30 minutes. And I had the first right of refusal. Like, okay, this is a lesson learned here. And sure enough, I bought a baseball card. Oh my goodness, I forgot. But it was like a 1960.
What?
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. What?
It was a vintage baseball card worth around $500, and I paid I think like $380, and I ended up moving it for a Nathan McKinnon Young Guns PSA 9 and $250 cash, like within 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That was the same show. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I just learned that lesson so I could pull this off, and it worked. So I ended up auctioning Nathan McKinnon, and I think I was up almost $200 on that deal. So I'm also realizing as I'm doing this full time, I'm spending more time in the market, studying the market. I'm spending more time at shows, so I'm more exposed. And I think like I'm getting a little more savvy on what deals to make and what deals to not make. Yeah.
Phil was telling us at the Ottawa show last week that he is noticing more and more Pokemon. Are you noticing that in the fairy tale land of Moncton that you live in?
So not necessarily, but I was a new participant at the Moncton Toy Show, which is it's a monthly show, and it's usually on Sundays. And it started off as like predominantly video games, toys, and Pokemon cards. And now they branched into sports, and I'm one of the 3 or 4 sports vendors there now. So there, I noticed more Pokemon, but at my other regular shows, like the ones in Halifax and Moncton and Fredericton, I haven't noticed an uptick in Pokemon there.
Okay. Speaking of Moncton, Louis told me that the only way you can get to where you live is if you climb through a wardrobe in an old Victorian house or in the middle stall of a 7-Eleven bathroom. Is this correct?
It's a little bit like Hogwarts. Yes, you need very specific instructions to make it here. Yeah.
Okay, so the Canada Pro strike hasn't affected you too much, which is good. What about this time of year? As we get now, we're kind of in this like really close to Christmas. We're about 10 days away, 9 days away. Do things slow down for a couple weeks, or is it still full steam ahead?
So my last show is the 21st, so it's still full steam ahead
Mhm.
up until the 21st, and then on the 23rd I have, well, I don't know, I'll have cards to ship. I usually ship them next day, so I hope they make it there on Christmas Eve. But yeah, I'll make a judgment call there and see. I
Mhm.
might set the expectation that they might not get posted that particular uh, week.
Yeah.
But yeah, up until the 23rd, I'm busy as heck. So I can't really say it's been slowing down. I've even like yesterday, the show yesterday was extremely busy,
Nice.
and I didn't stop. Like either it was like selling a card to someone or taking a consignment or advising someone to grade a card or not. And it was nonstop. And I had a lot of people come to my booth and be like, oh my God, I bought this from this vendor at like 60% comps. And I've like, I think a lot of the vendors were also eager to, have some cash for the holidays. So I wish I could have walked the floor and bought a few things because some of the purchases were pretty insane. But I was also really busy at my booth, which was good for business. I was happy
Yeah.
this week. Like money in my pocket wise, including like whether it's Slab Sharks auction, my sales, or the commission, was by far my best week since I've entered the hobby money wise. So I'm finally the anxiety of like, oh my God, what am I going to do for income? If I can have a week like this once a month or once every 2 months, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That it must be a big relief to you.
Yes.
I want to get
Yes.
back to the shows, and I think what a lot of people always want to know is whether it's cards or players or both, what's really moving right now? What's selling? What's hot versus what's stuff that is just not at all moving?
It's a good question. Since my rule is Young Guns and Future Watch Autos, I, my stuff has a lot of velocity. And I think I get a lot of repeat customers because, and this is not throwing shade at other vendors, but some vendors will just have the same inventory month after month after month.
Mm.
Maybe one card's gone and one card gets replaced. But I think that's what brings me the same customers and even new customers every time. It's like my, you'll never see the same display month to month in my at
Variety
my
is good.
booth.
Variety is good.
Yeah.
Are there
Ex
particular players though that people are asking for?
Well, definitely Minnesota Wild players. Like I've been moving Capri's. I've had 4 PSA
What?
10s. Yeah. 4 PSA 10s. Now I'm down to 2, even though his prices went up quite a bit. Marco Rossi, Matt Boldy have been selling really well. Uh, who else I feel has been selling quite well? Um, Marty Nietzsche, obviously he's on a tear as well. Uh, Tim Stutzla, yeah, and it's mainly been Young Guns. That's mainly what I've been carrying to.
Yeah.
So yeah, PSA 10
W-
Young Guns are just so liquid. It's Kill McCarr, Quinn Hughes as well. That's been moving really, really well.
What about Bedard?
Actually, I was when you asked the question, the first yes, he's been moving very well. It's just his
Really?
price is low. His price is like the amount of movement hasn't changed. It's just the price at where it moves has.
Gotcha.
I had
Is
one
there
guy.
okay, go
Sorry, do
ahead.
you want me to?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
keep going.
one. Okay, I had one guy in Halifax bring me a raw Bedard that I paid $280 cash for because I usually sticker it now at like 320, 330.
Yeah.
And the guy right after him was like, I want that Bedard. And he gave me 2 William Nylander PSA 10s. So, and then I auctioned them off and I think I made $80 after auction fees or so.
Mhm.
People are still willing to give good cards in trade or they're willing to pay full comp on Bedard, and it moves extremely quickly. It's just at a lower price.
Are there any players you're wary of right now that if somebody comes like with a Young Guns PSA 10 or Future Watch, you either got to get it for a really good price or you're gonna turn it down?
Maybe like Bouchard, I just think his play is not as good lately. What other cards did I kind of like turn away in terms of young guns? Nothing much, to be honest. Like,
It's just
I
more of the prices, right?
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
eh, Like it's been moving really well. So it's a hard question to answer because in terms of especially young guns, when someone comes to me with a young gun, I make the offer. Sometimes they'll say no. I make the offer where I think if I auction it off, I can still make a couple dollars. And most of them, especially the last shows in like the last few shows in December, I've been really good buying opportunities. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't have a direct answer to that, unfortunately.
What about the 2024-25 Series 1 Young Guns? Has there been a lot of interest in Hudson or Cutter Gauthier, kind of the Stankman, those guys?
So I had a raw Stankoven. I ended up buying a case right before the expo, and I got to tell you, it was a tedious, it was a tedious rip. I wasn't a huge fan of the inserts myself personally.
Mhm. The
Uh,
gaming ones, there's a lot of those.
yes, and I'm a gamer, but I just feel, and this is no shade to Upper Deck, but like I feel the designs were made by someone who thinks what gaming should look like and not what gaming actually is. That's just kind of the impression I got,
Mhm.
especially as being a gamer for 30 plus years. It was a tedious rip too because I had to leave for the expo and I got the case like 2 days before there was a shipment delay. But I sent off some for grading, including two Lane Hudsons. Should get them back anytime soon. But like I had a Stankoven that moved in my raw binder that moved pretty quickly, but I don't
Mm.
see them too much at vendor tables. I was surprised. Like I just didn't see them as much as I expected. And I have a friend who like really wants a lot of Series One cards for this crop. It's like, man, I can't find them anywhere. So I haven't
Mhm.
seen the ones that I did have. Like they move pretty quick, but I don't see them much. So I don't know if less product is being ripped, especially after Bedardapalooza. People might be a little bit
Mhm.
weary of wax. But yeah, I just haven't seen them as much, so they haven't really come my way that much, minus the case that I opened.
You mentioned that you've kind of your core bread and butter, or however you want to put it, are the Young Guns and then Future Watch Autos.
Yes.
If and when you ever add a third card to that mix, do you have any idea what card that would be?
Well, I'd probably be I do like the rookie patch autos,
Mhm.
obviously from the cup. I like any like I love autograph and game used patch cards. They just don't come my way that often. And
Mhm.
when they do, at first I'd take them up and okay, I'll pay close to last comp, but now when they do, it's hard for me to land on the price with the individual, and sometimes I will, and when we do, I feel it moves pretty easily. I do really like, yeah, any kind of rookie patch auto. It doesn't have to be from the cup. It can be the Ice Premier. It could be
What
um
about what
yeah.
about flops? Flop? Are
Oh,
those?
yes. I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
Okay.
don't last long. I love acetates as well, and, I had one in Toronto that didn't last long and went to Baba Louie there. So,
Never gonna hear the end of that one, but it's a
Thank
good
you.
card.
yeah, thank you. Um, yeah, like and also I ended up buying, oh, I forgot exactly what the card was, but it was a hard signed PSA 10 Kaprizov card. And the hard signed Kaprizov rookie year stuff is hard to find. It was
Really hard to find.
ultimate. Yeah, I think it was ultimate
Yeah.
introductions. And it was
Okay.
PSA 10. And I moved it the next day pretty quickly. So cards like that, I'll say yes to them. They usually move quickly and
Mhm.
they're about maybe less than 5% of what's being displayed.
Well, we're very close to 2025, amazingly. And have you started to think about like big goals for next year? Like, so a year from today, like what would you want your situation to look like?
Yes, I have, and I'm a bit of at a crossroad,
Mm.
but because I love setting up at shows,
Hmm.
but the opportunity to maybe have a card shop is present in my reality right
Mhm.
now. And it's like, okay, if I have a card shop though, am I going to go to way less shows? Probably. I'll be busy being there and setting it up, and I
But
don't
that's a
know
great
if
way
at
to
this.
promote a shop too, though, right?
Yeah.
At a show.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. But it'd be me and a partner. So, but the partner is not a big traveler. He
Mm.
likes to, to be at home. So it's like, okay, well, maybe when I'm gone, you're the one, taking care of the shop. So, so that's definitely on my radar. For 2024, my goal was to travel to more shows, and I've been to as many shows as I've ever been to in my whole life.
Yep.
Just in 2024, like I've gone to I've doubled up. Like just in 2024, I've gone to twice as many shows that I've had my whole life. So, so that's accomplished. But and I've really enjoyed it. So I want to keep that going. But I
Mhm.
also, having a card shop would be a lot of fun. We have ideas on the types of service that we'd offer. It wouldn't be a wax shop. We wouldn't necessarily deal with distributors. It would be a combination of a drop-off spot for different grading companies, slab sharks, as well as having
Nice.
singles that we can buy, sell, and trade. So that's on a radar. It's just a question of finding where and
Mhm.
building the brand, the just the logo, everything. So we have that. It's on our radar. Maybe I'm preemptively, sharing some of this, but I'm also, I think it'll be in me and my partner's reality in 2025. We're hoping quarter one or quarter two, 2025.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be very cool. Now, is a card shop in a make believe land real, or is the shop make believe too?
Yeah. So as soon as I leave my door, I'm already in the shop. So it's like there's
Oh,
no, yeah,
oh.
yeah. Time and space is kind of bent here, so we can
Like
just
purple
show
headed
up at our
zebra
shop.
monkeys, like in there
Yeah,
too, and whatever. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
it's kind of
exactly. Yeah,
well. It should be an exciting 2025, and you think about this year for you as a big year. Not only going to a million shows, but quitting your job, becoming
yeah.
a card dealer full time. Um, are you happy? I guess we'll end here with how things have worked out to this point.
I have. I definitely like. If had you asked me this a month ago, I might have been a little bit more stressed.
Mhm.
Having the week I had, I'm very happy. I had a nest egg, and I burned through it much faster than I
Oops.
thought I would. Yeah. Well, part of me said, okay, this nest egg, I'm not going to use it for cards, but I did. And I got some wins, but some losses. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I did also buy some stuff that I needed for my my house.
Mhm.
So yeah, that made a dent pretty quickly. And I was like, oh my God, my nest egg is shrinking pretty quickly. But with the week I had, I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, I've like just even compared to like 5, 6 months ago, even like yesterday, as an example, I had a guy come to my booth and he wanted my Boldy PSA 10 and my Noah Dobson PSA 10, which were stickered at 260. He's like, "What's your best price?" And I said 240. And he's like 220. And I was like, "Oh, I think okay, 230 is probably my best." And he's like 220. He said 220 probably 3 times. And then I
Yeah,
was like, "No, 230." And he eventually bought it. But had
there you
that
go.
happened 3 months ago, I would have buckled and just taken his 220,
Mm.
right? So to me, that is a sign of growth and a sign of confidence and a sign of like these two cards I can move to someone else for even more what you're offering me. I don't feel like, oh my God, I need to sell this now to make money where I've already had a good week. It's like, okay, I can say no, and I know this will sell. I'm comfortable knowing what will sell. So yeah, in terms of growth, 2024 has been astronomical astronomical for me, and I just can't wait to see what 2025 has in store.
by the by the second or third time that some guy would have said 220 to me, I'd have gone from 230 back up to 240. Like, oh, I'm not playing this.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy next to me buckled and he's like, "Yeah, you held firm, eh?" I was like, "Yeah," and he still bought it. He's like, "I ended up buckling." I was like, I told him, don't be hard on yourself. You don't come to shows that often. He's a friend of mine. He'll come set up every
Yeah.
3 months. And I'm like, this comes with practice, man. And yeah, it did come with practice, and it comes with experience and practice. Yeah, really.
Do you find at a show though that a little bit of your willingness to negotiate kind of falls in line with how successful the show's been? So if it's near the end of the day and you've made a whole bunch of money, are you less likely at that point to feel like
Yes.
give a better deal?
Yes, but it also depends on the card and how much I'm into it for. If I graded it
Mm.
myself, I've got a little bit more wiggle. And it's also like if it's a card that I think will move instantly or like by the next show, I'll be more firm. I haven't even thought about your question, but I want to say probably, yeah. Like if I've had a really good show up until the last hour and I get offers that aren't necessarily low balls, but I think I could get better, I'll probably just pass on them.
Mhm.
I've been passing on so many more deals, but things have been going so much better. And it's like the trick is really learning how to say no and being more fussy
Mhm.
on what you do buy or take in on trade.
But your brain kind of tries to trick you that whether it's a buyer or a seller, even that situation, that this is the last opportunity that will ever exist, right? When you
Yeah.
know
Yes.
logically, not emotionally, but logically, that the next opportunity is right around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. And that definitely comes with, just being consistent, showing up at shows consistent and just learning, seeing the patterns and learning what works and what moves and etc. So it's yeah, if you're only coming to shows every couple months and you have an offer, you're like, oh my God, an offer on a card that I haven't moved in forever. Well, because I'm not there, right? So yeah, you get a little bit more emotional and you think a little bit more emotionally. Whereas when you see the
Mhm.
numbers every week, maybe sometimes twice a week. Last weekend I had 2 shows, Saturday and Sunday. So it was just like really crazy busy, but those numbers teach me. You know what I mean? They teach me a
Yeah.
lot. So I can just think, like you said, a lot more logically and with a lot more confidence. And the market is like the shows are the healthiest I've ever seen. They're the busiest I've ever seen. There's
Nice.
traffic, it's everything. So I'm like, yeah, like until I see a decline in attendance, I'm not gonna change kind of the
Mhm.
craft that I've kind of molded.
Awesome information. Happy holidays. Happy
Thank
New
you. Happy
Year. If we
holidays,
don't
John. Happy New Year.
talk to you before then, and we'll have you on at some point in January to see how
Yeah, awesome.
2025 is kicking off for you. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Chapter 8 or 9 or something.
I think
Um,
it's 8 officially, but yeah,
I
okay,
think it's
we'll go
8.
with something. Yeah.
uh, where we'll go with it is in the books, and awesome stuff. Thank you, Sylvain. Talk to you again soon.
Thank
Thanks,
you
buddy.
guys. I appreciate it.
We're back. Okay, well, Phil, you'll get to listen tomorrow, and text me your comments.
I'll be honest, I probably won't listen to it. No, I'll listen to it. I'll listen. I listen to it, I make notes, and I send it to Sylvain. I say, do better next time.
Ooh, ouch, ouch. Were you surprised, Louis, that the market's so hot right now? I would have thought maybe around this for the next few weeks it would slow down with people's minds on Christmas, but it's like he's been on
But
fire lately.
well, yeah, like you said, people are offloading stuff maybe or not maybe, people are offloading stuff at decent prices because they want cash for the holidays, maybe,
Yeah.
that's what I took from that.
He said things were going good and healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said shows have been super busy, and we
Yeah.
were wondering if maybe that's been a positive byproduct of the Canada Post strike, where people don't want to
Oh,
necessarily buy cards on eBay or
yeah, good
other
point.
online that require shipping. And so it's like, well, then maybe I'll go to my local card show and take my cards home with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great stuff. And can't wait to check back with Savannah next month and see how his 2025 is going early in the year.
Did he talk about Friday nights with Phil?
He just said he hated the show.
Yeah. He's
Oh, good. The show hates him too.
tired
Can't
of
wait to see
being
him on Friday.
Actually, he said he was so exhausted because he felt like he had to carry the whole thing. But
Oh, please. So exhausted. I'll show you the text messages. I can only be there for like 45 minutes, an hour, because I have to get up early the next day. Okay. Okay, princess.
I think he calls you WB for wet blanket, but
That's fine. I don't care.
yeah.
I dish it out, man. I better be able to take it,
Okay, new product release is brought to you by our friends and partners at Mint Ink. It's not too late to get that perfect holiday gift for the hockey lover in your life at one of 2 Mint Ink locations in the GTA in Vaughan or Davenport. If you can't swing by Toronto, that'd be a little inconvenient for us, Louis, to get a gift.
Yeah.
But we can go to mintink.ca. You can get it all: boxes, singles, Funko Pops, gift cards, break spots, other hockey memorabilia. So again, head to mintink.ca. Now it's time for us to get excited. We're a little biased here.
I've
We're
been
big.
excited.
Yeah. This is a release the 3 of us have been very much looking forward to. This week on Wednesday, 2023-24 Parkhurst Champions comes out. It is the second Parkhurst Champions release. Last year, when 2022-23 debuted, it paid homage to the first ever Parker set in 1951. So for the follow-up, this release will play homage to the second year Parkhurst, which was in 1952. Now, 1952 Parkhurst was a big departure from the 51 set. If you're watching on YouTube, put the Gordie Howes to compare how the set changed from year to year. The only text on the 1952 set was the facsimile auto on the front of the card. 1952s were much more colorful than the more manila envelope kind of style of the 1951 set. 1952 Parkhurst cards were bigger, measured at 1 15/16 inches by 2 15/16 inches. And while the card backs in 1951 were all blank, there was text on the 1952 Parkhurst card backs, including for the very first time in a hockey set, player stats appeared in 1952. So there's a little bit of background into. I thought it was kind of important to spend a minute or two on the 1952 set since it's an integral part of this 2023-24 Parkhurst Champions release. Now, the next thing to remember too is 2023-24, so it's a Bedsy product. So the people get confused by the rookies sometimes. So this is Bedard, Fantilli, Leo Carlson, Luke Hughes, Brock Faber, etc. And I think what made last year's release so appealing to many collectors like us was you get that nostalgic or throwback feel. And there's also we thought, great value to the set, and we'll go through that in a minute too. We've all said numerous times, right, that this is the cheapest product that you'll ever see that has on-card autos and game-used memorabilia. Have you ever found a cheaper product, Phil, than
Nope.
Parkhurst Champion?
Nope. Top dog. And before you go further, it is the 3rd year of Parkhurst Champions, 2010, 2011. They had a pretty
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm nitpicking, but it if you
No,
Google it or
thank
whatnot,
you.
Nope.
Were you a fan of that set?
No. No. No, it's unique in its own way, but I don't own a card. No.
Yeah. I forgot about it. Thank you. So 23-24 Parkhurst Champions will be a physical and an e-pack release, just like last year. And just like with 2022-23, the base set is separated by vets, rookies, and legends. The parallels follow the same configuration as last year, too. So there's silver, there's a rainbow, a color variation, gold rainbow, red out of 52, black out of 10, and then printing plates, which are 101. You have the base design? Do you have a review? How do you think it compares to last year? Do you like it more? Do you like it less, Phil? I'm gonna lean a lot on you because you went so heavy.
Yeah, I went ham on today. I still am. I still check every day for the cards I need to finish. I'm less than 10%, the whole master set. And which makes some problems for this year because I want to keep doing it every year, but I can't afford that, man. I can't. I'm probably at like $10,000, or maybe, I don't know. I think these cards look nice. It's going to be hard to beat last year for me.
Yeah.
The color variants of last year's product are some of the greatest hockey cards ever. That's the first set.
They're awesome.
Yeah. It's the first mini set within that set that I finished. And I went hard at it because they're just so nostalgic. There's something, whoever designed that set did a great job. They put a nice little stroke around the player. I noticed they don't have that this year, but you got to try different things. I don't want it to be the same as last year. So I really need to hold these in hand. The cards on the screen look very, very nice. You're not going to beat last year in my head, but the more we see these cards, I'm definitely buying a box, and I'm giving away a box on Friday, shameless plug, of Parkhurst Champions. So I'll review this set properly on Friday, and I'm really excited for that.
You got a review of the base set design, Louis? Speak to you.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I don't mind them so far. I like them, but like Phil said, until you get them in hand, we'll see how they compare to last year's.
As you go from vets to rookies to then legends, the odds get much tougher, just like with last year. As an example, or to illustrate this, here's the odds for the gold rainbow base parallel. Vets is 1 in 42 pack odds. Rookies is 1 in 600, and legends is 1 in 1200.
Wow, nice.
So the legends, again, much more rare.
Good.
Now, the legends checklist has been expanded from 25 to 30 players this year. And here's the list of new legends appearing in 2023-24 Parkhurst. So these are the guys that weren't in last year's set.
Yeah, I hope Pavel Bure. I hope McGillney. Okay, let's go.
Dale Howardchuk.
Oh, Jeremy will be happy.
Bernie Perron. Vincent Damphus. Todd Bertuzzi, legend. Todd Bertuzzi.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Should be in
Poirier
jail.
Salmain.
No, he shouldn't. Go ahead.
Brian Leach. Chris Chelios.
Yeah.
Glenn Hall. Jean Rattel. Eric Lindros.
Nice.
What?
Joe Neuendijk. Bill Marion Hossa.
Yeah.
Maurice Richard.
Yeah.
Matt Sundin.
Meh.
Me. Mike Gardner.
Nice, Auto Boy.
Paul Coffey.
You funny. You're hilarious.
Paul Coffey was in last year.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Maybe I made a mistake. Okay. He might be a repeat. There's a couple of repeats. I skipped on purpose to get a rise out of Louis. Mike Badano.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know he was a Coffee fan too.
Pete Mahavlich. Joe Sakic.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one. Peter Statsny.
Yeah.
I hope Sakic's in a Nordiques. He better be.
Yeah. Pierre Turgeon and Tony
Nice.
Esposito.
Good nod to Pierre Turgeon. Very overlooked player. Very
So
overlooked.
which one of those guys are you most excited about? The ones
Marion Hossa. Yeah, I might groundbreaking thing here. I'll bust it out on the episode. I might start Marion Hossa PC. Maybe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, it's gonna be hard to dent. I'm sure there's a lot of big boys already out there.
They've already locked him up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I know the answer to this, but the new legends, it would be super cool. Madano, his cards were in the North Stars unis.
They gotta be.
No.
But it's not going to happen.
You don't think so? We don't have a preview. We'll find out Wednesday.
You know,
I'm gonna buy
I
boxes
think
and
of it.
open them
I
on my
think
own.
of it like Sakic. You want him in the Nordiques, but same thing.
Yeah. That's too exciting. I know I'm gonna have to make an adult decision and probably not go hard on this set this year.
You're gonna open a box on your show, and then that'll decide it. You'll either be
You're right.
again,
Yeah, you're right.
or maybe you'll hit it out of 10 or something like that. You hit the Gretzky out of 10, didn't you?
First box, I hit the Gretzky out of 10. Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy.
it.
Wasn't that at the table at the Chateau?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a friend's night, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, there's base autos as well. Odds get tougher again as you move from vets to rookies to legends. The biggest hits are going to be short print or super short print. So here's if you're watching AM34 base auto, again, looks like on card. There's a blue parallel to the base auto. These are out of 25 or 15.
That's a
For the
nice card. The Bedsy, Josh just showed up 11 out of 25 Bedsy. Blue.
And there's just like last year, there's for the base set, there's jersey parallels and patches.
That's
And there's a base auto with a premium relic. These are out of 35 or 25. These look super nice. We're showing a Bedard rookie patch auto out of 35.
Gorgeous. I love that brown sepia border. Either you hate it or you love it, right? I love it.
Yeah.
I love a good wood paneled basement.
Beyond the base, the biggest draw is going to 23-24 Parkhurst Champions are going to be the 52 retros. It's a 100 card checklist. It's a mix of vets, rookies, and legends. Interesting note on the legends is that the checklist includes some different players from the base legends checklist. So these legends are not in the base checklist, but there's Steve Yzerman, Marcel Dion, Ted Lindsay, Doug Gilmore, Rod Gilbert, Yari Curry, and Cam Neely. You'll find in the 52 retros. Base odds are 1 in 8 packs. There's an album back this year. There's a rapper back last year for the Parkhurst Mini, the 51 minis. There's also, again, a gold rainbow out of 52 and then 101 printing plates. There's also an auto version of the 52 retros, 53 players on that checklist, 1 in 130 hobby pack odds. Again, many of the big hits are going to be short printed or super short printed. Notable players on the 52 retro auto checklist are Bedard, Patrick Waugh, Eric Lindros, Wayne Gretzky, Austin Matthews, Ovechkin, Bobby Orr, Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
And then there's red auto parallels again that are out of 5.
Nice.
What do you guys think of the retro designs this year? Do you like this
I like
better
it.
than the minis?
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I like it. It looks pretty snazzy. I want to hit one of these in a box. That'd be great, man.
Last thing we'll go over is there's a number of inserts in 23-24 Parkhurst Champions. I count 6 inserts. Some have auto versions and memorabilia versions as well. There's 2 of those that I would mention that have pretty tough pack odds. There's an original 6 retro set that's 1 in 480. 9 players have an auto version that is out of 15 or out of 6. The toughest insert, first of all, what do you guys just do anything for you? Do you like original 6 kind of content, or is that overplayed from your perspective?
Is it hologrammy like the holotypes?
I don't know. It looks like a rainbow foil to me.
Yeah, it looks very.
Oh, right. If it's a hologram, I'd love it. If it's a rainbow foil, we'll see. I have to hold it in hand. I'm liking what I'm seeing though. I'm excited to open on Wednesday.
This next insert I'm kind of interested in. It's the toughest one to hit. To hit any of these are 1 in 1,200 pack odds. It's called Legendary Captains.
Nice.
15 players on the checklist, a mix of vets and legends. So
these are like the legend cards from last year, just a different design.
Yeah. Well, that's the basics for 23-24, the checklist. There's other cards, of course, you can check out on Beckett or whatever checklist site. One set that there wasn't images of that I'm interested in is Parkhurst Cuts. Those all seem like very low numbered, like out of 3, out of 2, out of 4, kind of etc. So, but I just have no idea what those look like.
Any booklets this year, Joshy Poo?
I didn't see. Maybe.
No, I hope not. They weren't the big sellers. They're all over eBay. I mean, they're swing and a miss, I think, on that one.
A thought I had doing this review too is while it is a 23-24 set, it's only, and Bedard is of course a thing. It feels like that this is bigger than Bedard almost.
Yeah.
Right. And you get that. And so where a lot of these products as of late have been sort of Bedard or bust, Bedard or nothing. You get some really great cards in this set and that have nothing to do with Connor Bedard. And so that's refreshing to me.
What's the price point on this? We haven't talked about that unless you said
it.
Yeah,
we'll go through a second.
Okay.
All right. Last thing before we get into price is what to expect from a hobby box. Each box contains 20 packs, 8 cards per pack. You get 1 autograph or memorabilia card per box, 4 base set rookies or legend SP cards, 4 base set rainbow parallel cards for box, 2 base set color variation cards for box, and 1 base set gold rainbow parallel card per box. You can still pre-order, here we go, Phil, 23-24 Parkhurst Champions in Canada at our partner Mint Inc. for $199 Canadian.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
You get a touch of the Bedard tax, of course, that we're going to see across the board for any 23-24 product, but I think under 200 Canadian is still a good value. And then here in the US, it looks like pre-orders around 150 US. Love the box design this year too, with Patrick Waugh on it, and that.
They should have taken it one step further and put Waugh in a Habs uni on the box.
Yeah.
Look how good Artifacts is selling.
Yeah.
Look, why?
Yeah.
Les habitants.
So overall, any closing thoughts, Louis or Phil, on Parkhurst Champions?
Yes, I always have thoughts and I will dictate them accordingly. So be careful of the e-pack. So I don't know if Upper Deck doesn't do this on purpose, but I got hosed, man. When it goes on e-pack, there's going to be speckled and speckled golds, and there's going to be a whole brand new set of autographs on the legend cards, and they're going to re-release like 6 new inserts. So if you're let's say hypothetically you want to finish the master set of this, and then once it goes on e-pack, your world is going to get rocked because there's all these new sets that are going to come out, and it's going to be really hard and expensive to keep up. So make a decision accordingly. This is a very e-pack surprise type of set as well. So I definitely will never try and finish the master collection again. Maybe I'll do something like just finish the legends every year. Maybe that would be a nice be a nice goal. Yeah.
Cheaper, right?
Yeah. A lot cheaper. Yeah.
What about you, Louis? Are you excited about this?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I would like to just finish my base legends still from the last one, but I'm jumping into this. This will be awesome.
Okay.
Big fan of Pierre Turgeon and Todd Bertuzzi being part of the legends as well. Big nods to those boys. Bertuzzi's gotten a bad rap, man. Bad thing he did, but one moment should not define a man's worth.
Unless you're Scott Stevens.
Unless you're Scott Stevens.
Yeah, exactly. Or Steve Moore. Why does that guy not get accountable? He was running around like a crazy person. No one ever talks about that. Ever talks about the guy who turns at the last second to get his head plastered through the boards. Where's the accountability on that guy? Anyway.
We're going to move to mailbag. First one's a long one from Aaron Lapointe. Got to breathe deep. Huh? Here's a question. I'm curious to hear others' perspective and hope it's not too long-winded. Why should the hobby grow? Growth and 10xing the hobby is all over the sports card hobby, but it's worth asking, why do we as collectors and hobbyists focus or care about growth of the hobby? Here's a perspective to consider. 1, growth for businesses versus collectors. For manufacturers, shops, and dealers, growth is linked to revenue and profit. It's their livelihood. For collectors like us, the equation is different. We collect for the joy of it. Buying, selling, trading cards, meeting like-minded people at shows, and fostering friendships. The essence of the hobby lies in our shared experiences, not just its size. Since sustaining the hobby is a win, why not focus on sustaining the hobby as a fun, inclusive space? A vibrant community doesn't need to be massive. It thrives on connection. It's about creating memories, enjoying the art and history of cardboard, and inviting others to share in the joy if they want to. Then filtering the noise. Yes, criticism exists. The show wasn't run well. That product isn't great. Or company X only cares about profits. But these frustrations overshadow the good. Shows are happening. People are connecting. And collectors are finding joy in their cards. Growth in size doesn't always equate to growth in value for those of us who simply enjoy the hobby in our own way. Curious your thoughts. All right, I'm exhausted. Somebody answer this first.
Go, Louis.
Oh, I really dove into this one for some odd reason, but I'll touch on a little bit here. And first, I think there's a question before number 1 that could be touched on. And, growth in the hobby can bring more attention, which the hobby market could use. We can always take and want to have new collectors and fresh opportunities, and opportunities are all sorts of things. Taking us doing the show, for example. I don't believe, that the core value of collecting is necessarily about expanding the market. For many of us, or my feeling is that just the hobby isn't driven by the need for it to 10x, which seems to be a hot term lately, but by the enjoyment of the cards themselves and what they represent. From what I've learned and experienced over the last few years, is the value of the hobby lies in personal connections. That's been big for me. The thrill of the hunt for what I'm trying to chase, and the memories I've built, and not the size of the community or the value of the cards themselves. And then I jumped in number 3 was criticism or filtering the noise is just going to be inevitable. And it's essential to remember that not every aspect of a show or a product needs to be perfect for people to find enjoyment and value in the experience. Growth in size or value doesn't always translate into fulfillment that many collectors seek, but enjoying the hobby with others and appreciating it for its own sake often outweighs the noise of criticism. So ultimately, it's about personal enjoyment and a supportive environment centered on our shared passion of collecting cards.
What do you think, Phil?
I agree with Aaron a little bit. I think I know what he's getting at, where he's like, why should we care if we're 10xing the hobby? And why do we need I think I'm a quality over quantity guy. So I think I know where Aaron's going with this. I don't want the hobby to 10x either if it's like no substance to that growth. I'd rather small yet mighty. That's why I love hockey, right? I feel like we have like CT scanning scaring everybody, but I feel like we're a little more safe in our little niche here of hockey. So I think define terms a little bit, right? Growth in size doesn't always equate to growth in value. Aaron said, I agree. I totally agree. So just make sure your close surroundings are quality. And then your hobby experience is what you bring into it. So just keep your core tight. Keep if someone wrongs me in the hobby, I don't make a stink. I just don't deal with them again. Whether that's a dealer or a guy I'm trading with or some comment online or so quality over quantity, and you'll be okay.
I don't necessarily think growth is a bad thing either. I get, again, Aaron's point as well, that it's not the only thing. I think the bigger the hobby is, the more opportunities, the more money that goes into producing cards, the better potential cards that we could see. And it's just fun to have more people to share your passion with too,
Yeah.
to some degree. Good question, though, Aaron. Thank you for it. Facebook, Devin Baldwin, is Bedard the next McDavid? Phil.
No. No. Okay,
Louis.
sorry. I'll elaborate. I'm sorry. I do not believe Bedard will be the next Connor McDavid because he hasn't shown us anything for us to think that in any way, shape, or form other than us creating the hype, right? So
you said exactly what I had, buddy.
All right.
Great minds think alike, Louis.
Facebook, John Martin. Bounties on rare cards such as Bedard Gold Outburst Young Guns. Do you believe that this could possibly indicate collusion between large hobby shops or major players and card printers to artificially hike product prices? I don't know. The problem that we colloquially use terms like collusion, and I was thinking like in these cases where we have to be very careful about like the definition. I don't know if throwing out a bounty on a product technically means collusion, but I do believe that there are entities that use bounties as a marketing tactic to increase sales, like on wax or other things. And this is another one of those maybe ethical discussions that should a company like David Adams, why are they offering a bounty on products? Is it who's paying for that bounty?
Wasn't it obvious they want more sales? I didn't think that was
Yeah.
a secret. Is that a secret?
Yeah,
Obviously, that's why they're
he's
doing
wondering
it.
if that's illegal or unethical or
I think it's smart business, no?
no, I don't know. Do you
Like
think
a
it's
contest,
ethical?
right? Buy this car and you could win this.
Yeah,
Everyone's doing it just in a different way.
just in a different way. What about you, Louis? Do you think it's ethical, legal? What do you think?
I don't I don't have an issue about it. I wrote a whole bunch on this, but one thing I said, it's a reflection of supply and demand, and dealers respond to market trends by offering incentives based on the current desirability of a card.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. Instagram, King Breaks. How much do you think that Canada's post strike is affecting buying? I personally feel that all these comps will be lower than normal that people will go off of. Do you think it's affected comps at all, Phil?
I think anything, let's say it did, it would be under $5, and that's not worth my time to think about it. Is that a snooty answer? I don't know. I think that if you, I don't think like that when I buy cards. I don't know.
you'd have to be a really like smart person to even know how to figure that out. Like what economic principle or formula you would need to know that. So yeah, I have no idea.
You're asking a guy. I'll pay $25 more for a $25 card to make sure I get it. That's you're asking this question too. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
But you have any thoughts on this, Louis? Or
No, I don't. I really haven't been paying any attention if it's messing with comps or not.
That was another Baba Louie hobby hot take.
boom.
I thank you.
Sure.
Discord, Sebastian Engelhardt. As base cards fade into obscurity and oblivion, what set from the last year do you think has the best base cards? And what is your favorite base set of all time? I think 23, 24 Allure for both.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw Parkhurst Champions in there too, though. They're
Okay.
very different, very, very different, and I love them both. And I
Louis.
think we all know I mean, we all know my favorite all-time base set, 9091 Upper Deck of all time.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with Phil with Parkhurst Champions.
Okay.
Yes, Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, the sports card journey. Curious if you guys are still doing pack opening videos. I've always loved looking at the new releases. No worries if you are not. I know how you have a ton going on. Just curious. Thanks again. Always love the show. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. We haven't been, which is me. When I say we, I mean me.
Yeah, I don't do that.
It's Josh's fault.
Yeah. Partly because we're working on new setups here. Today is the first day that I'm recording from my new setup, and I need to get a better setup to record the pack opening videos, and that's the kind of a next project. So hope to resume that soon. Instagram, Kevin B. Smith. I'm not sure if I missed it, but being Wild fans, what were your thoughts on the David Urasek trade? Good deal, or did Minnie give up too much? Cheers. Oh, we have to see this play out a little bit, don't we, Louis?
Right. Yep.
Has he played it all for us yet?
I haven't noticed him out there.
Hey, you guys want to hear a crazy Wild stat? The first what forward in the league has the most total ice time of all year after defenseman? So
Danny
most Kaprizov.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he plays the most hockey for a forward in the NHL as for this year.
What?
He's a good young man. Kaprizov.
Yeah.
Nice to have him around.
Yeah, so I think Kevin, we're kind of a wait and see mode. It was a lot to give up, but if he pans out, if he can learn how to do crossovers, which is kind of concerning, I think that would be good.
Does Kaprizov, is he good in interviews or does he know no English?
No, he can speak it. He just chooses not to.
Like other Russians, he uses that as an excuse. But plenty of people have said he's way better at speaking English than he lets on.
Okay, because we get Timmy Stutzel here is like always on air, always on the radio. He's so part of the community. Is Kaprizov like that for you guys?
No, more shy.
Go with Timmy Tantrums then.
How's Timmy Tantrums English?
It's good. Why? German translate. I mean, look at Draisaitl. You can't even tell he's German half the time, right?
Yeah.
So Timmy's gotten a lot better than first year. A lot better.
Okay. He's Timmy Tantrums is pacing for 100 points. I saw too. He could.
Bro, do you not see my sends right now? Let's not go there. I don't want to talk about it. Things are good. Yeah. 3 in a row. 3 in a row. Thank you very much.
A week ago, you hated the team and never wanted to watch them again. So
that's fine. Do you love your wife always, every day? No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
So, no, you don't. Not a chance.
Instagram, Axel Foley, 13PC. Here's a question. Good one. Would any of you gentlemen trade your entire collections for a Stanley Cup for your team? As a diehard Maple Leafs fan, love you, Phil, I wouldn't a heartbeat. I can always reacquire cards in the future, but a cup? Louis?
No.
Phil?
I feel I have a really good answer and a very common answer. My heart absolutely says yes. My brain would say, what are you doing? No. So,
Phil.
Yeah. What?
Oh.
What? I do a bad thing?
Crying. You wouldn't. What kind of fan are you?
No, I didn't say yes or no. I took a cop-out answer. I gave a 50-50. Yeah. I would trade. Okay, how about this? I would trade my entire social media presence, all of it, the show, everything for the Sens to win a cup because I can be me always, right? I can't
Friday nights
always
with
get a
Sylvain.
Brady. Pardon me?
Friday nights with Sylvain. Then
No, you're gonna trade me in for Mr. Perfect Hair?
King of the
Fine.
cop out.
should we just call it that now? Friday nights with Sylvain, because according
Doesn't
to
have a
him,
role.
you do all the
You
work.
got to say his name properly first, and then we can
So
talk.
that.
You Americans, center of the earth, eh?
Yeah, we are.
Sylvan. What's up, Sylvan?
Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Oh, here's a great question. Instagram Iceblades 1. If Shane Pinto scores 2 goals in a game, does his young gun go up a quarter? Asking for a friend.
Watch your mouth, Ice Blades. Watch your mouth. And yes, it does go up more than a quarter.
Instagram Ryan Berkeley. What are the key concepts surrounding game used or memorabilia cards? What do you think he means by here? Just like a rundown of like what the options are?
I gave a cheeky response written.
Oh. Well, usually goes something like manufactured, meaning no affiliation with the player, to player worn, then event used, then game used, and then the creme de la creme. As that's a French term, Phil. Write that down. They would be a game used patch that actually has provenance, and you know exactly what game it was used in. That's the bomb. Diggity. Right?
Yeah.
Anything else to add there, boys?
Game
Well,
used or bust.
Is it provenance? What is that? That's not Providence, right? That's a state.
Correct.
Or
Providence is a region in Canada that what did you say? There's 9?
Well, no, one of my
9,
favorite movies
8.
is called Outside Providence, but I always but you just said provenance.
Providence is a city in Rose Island, but provenance is what I don't have the technical definition in front of me, but it's a form of authentication where it tells you where something comes from.
The place of origin or earliest known history of something.
Cool. Provenance.
Boom.
Yeah, there you go.
Learned a new word
Provenance.
today, Phil.
It's a nice word to say, provenance. It's elegant.
Then, lastly, but not leastly, we have a statement, not a question. Ed
Come on,
Lister
man.
from Instagram says, Phil, I fell asleep last night eating pizza in bed. You're not alone in this hill.
How can you eat food in bed?
Yeah,
How
that's
can
weird.
you not? Because you're married. That's why.
Oh,
I
so
can.
What?
I have a whole box of Dare chocolate fudge cookies ready to get crushed after this.
Do you eat in bed every day, Phil? Is that
No.
every day thing?
No.
Just on the
I'd say
weekends, just
twice
when
a
you need
month?
to spice up the.
No, I'd say it's like
Right?
twice a month. It's because every second weekend I like to go to boxing family fun day. It's one of the few things Hasselhoff will do with me still. So I drag him out of bed and we go. But every second weekend he works at McDonald's. So every second weekend I usually kind of just pig out hardcore in bed at night on a weekend.
You cry?
The next morning I do. Morning Phil hates night Phil. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, hates the guy.
Because
Yeah.
you feel shameful for your behavior?
All shame. The worst is the crumbs in the chest hair. That's the worst. I can't get it out, and if I don't want to get the hot water hot enough, it just melts in my chest. It's a bad scene, man.
All the benefits of eating food in bed.
All the benefits of being single.
Be honest, Phil.
Okay.
Phil. You picked a crumb out of your chest hair the next morning and ate it?
Have I? Absolutely, I have. I can't tell you when and where, but I would be lying to you if I didn't. Of course,
Thank you for being honest.
it's my chest hair. What do I care?
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
gross.
Threw up in
that.
my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
Okay, personal pickups. Phil, what did you buy?
nothing.
What?
You're still on this. Are you
Okay.
coming back to the hobby?
No, I didn't buy. I'm abstinence. Remember, I'm not buying hockey cards.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Baba Louie, I guess your turn.
My turn. I grabbed a few.
All right.
I picked up this blue foil 21-22 Nico Hischier out of $3.99. Go with a couple of the others I got. The green and red, I think, plus some more.
You gonna show it to us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me bring it up on the screen. Hey, that'd be even more fun. There she is.
There you go.
Then the next one, gonna look awfully close. This is the silver foil, Nico Hischier. And then I thought of Phil when I grabbed this one. I don't know why, but the Allure
Yeah, glitter bomb.
yellow. No, that's the yellow
No?
taxi.
Yeah.
You didn't have a
Much
better bomb
cheaper.
then.
Much
Huh?
cheaper too. Yeah.
Yeah. So just a couple cheapies.
Nice, man.
All
Couple
right,
cheapies.
yeah, very Fleer. I'm still in my Fleer state of mind too. So I had to pick up one of the new Fleer release that came out last week. I think Billy's going to be on Wednesday's show to talk about 2022-23 Fleer that released on
Nice.
EPAC. This is the new gold medallion. I picked up Quinn Hughes for like $12 on ComC. And
What a
of course,
steal,
I
eh?
have no idea what the card looks like because the ComC scan is so awful, but on its way being shipped to me.
Mhm.
Then with that, I got some of my. I still think I'm gonna like the 21 set better. We'll see.
Because
I
they're
gotta.
not cut off at the knees.
Why don't
Yeah.
you just hold them up, Josh, and decide now?
Hey Phil, I want your opinion on this. So you see, like dry settle here. Now go back to 2022.
Yeah.
They did this with PMG, like where they're cut off at the knees. I
Yeah, I don't
think I
like it.
like the. Yeah. Okay. Good.
I like the full body shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like
Me
that
too.
better. Leon looks good there.
Yeah. So that's that gold out of 200, and then I got the Makar platinum medallions out of 100 as well.
You're gonna have to get a top loader binder just for your medallions there, big guy.
Maybe I did.
Oh, breaking news.
Ooh.
Josh Madigan piece.
The hobby goes crazy.
No, don't
Shoot.
Oh,
Oh,
We're gonna bleep that out. We're gonna bleep that
I
out.
gotta.
Oh,
edit.
you're more bad
making
boy
me
than-
edit. People are gonna know the real Josh. Can I leave that in?
leave it in.
No,
Leave
edit
it
that
in.
out.
Come
I
on.
made
Listen,
a
we're
potty
never gonna
mouth.
be successful if we can't swear a little bit. Spitting chicklets. We're
We're
not like,
never gonna
oh
be
gosh
successful.
darn it, I schmuckered that guy
successful.
in the head.
No, stop. Phil.
It's
Oh,
okay. People knew what you were picking up for personal pickups. They probably stopped listening by then, anyways.
Oh.
That was good, Louis. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh, God.
Well, if you liked the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us on our Discord server, be got the cool kids. We're not cool. Please consider a $5 a month US donation. Join our $2.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description, both podcast apps and YouTube, Instagram, TikTok profiles. You can search for Hockey Cards Gongshow on the Patreon website, patreon.com, or check out our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and click on the Become a Patron link. Follow us on social media. We're cool that way. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and boys, the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dogbox Ventures LLC. Have an awesome start to your week. Looking forward to chatting with Billy on Thursday about Fleer Ultra. And Louis,
Yes.
take us out, bud.
Josh swore. Bye.